What's happening? Welcome in. Cody and Gold, 610 Sports Radio. I am Nick Schwerdt. Chris Unocero in with me today from 10 to 2. You may notice a glaring absence of one Cody B. Tapp, who is not in attendance today. That's one demerit. Alex Gold has an excused absence. We knew he wasn't going to be here because he hasn't been here all week. That's what happens when you take vacation. What you usually don't do, Chris, when you take vacation is just not show up the day before Thanksgiving, which is precisely what Cody has elected to do. That's all right. We'll rise above it. We will prosper, and we'll make the most of this. We got Pete Sweeney joining us coming up at 10:30, Danon Hughes at 11 o'clock. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid at noon. Actually, for the first time, excited about a press conference, eager to hear what Andy Reid has to say just because of the mounting injuries for this team ahead of their game against the Rams. Quite frankly, they could probably be without their first, second, and third string wide receivers, and I still like their chances against LA, but I'm not really here to talk about that right now. I'm here to talk about the fact that one Cody Tapp has contracted. Is it a disease, Chris? I think it's a disease. No, I didn't. I don't know what the official medical term for this is. Conjunctivitis, actually, which sounds way worse than what it
sounds like something off of Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's called pink eye. It's called pink eye. Didn't know adults got pink eye. I guess adults that have kids get pink eye. You know, kids are sticking their fingers in their hands all over different places and in the incorrect order that you probably shouldn't be doing, and that's how you end up with stinky, nasty pink eye, and that's what Cody has now. So Cody is not with us, and he informed me of this late in the wee hours of last night. I was just enjoying my Tuesday night, thought we'd be getting ready for the last show of the week, and then Cody calls me. It's like 2 or 3 a.m., I think, and said that he couldn't open his eyes. So he is at home, I would assuming, pouring himself a stiff glass of whiskey and, I don't know, baking one of 7 or 8 things that he has prepared for. Yeah, that's the thing. He's going to have like 20 people over to his house for Thanksgiving tomorrow. And
is he going to have people over when he's got this?
Yeah, he said he's having his whole family over.
He should postpone. He should do it like after he's cleared.
You can't
because you don't want to spread that.
You can't postpone Thanksgiving.
You can do it on Saturday if you need to. You can't have people over. You got pink eye.
All right. Actually, we have a caller now. 913-586-7610 if you'd like to text or call into the show. From the 816, joining us now on 610 Sports Radio. I'm trying. Chris, will you put him on? I can't put this guy on. 816, who we got?
Hello, it's me, Cody, the person who has pink eye.
What are you, like 7 years old?
Oh, my God, dude. That's probably the last time I had it. I was probably 7.
So I would imagine you're not tuned into the text line right now. But there are 2 overwhelming sentiments being echoed. One of those is that you are a child, and the other one is where have you been sticking your hands and your eyes? Because commonly pink eye is contracted from maybe the overlap of touching one body part than the next body part.
Fair, but in fairness, I got it from one of my children. Desmond, to be specific, who received it first, and then I kind of thought maybe we were okay because his cleared up pretty quick with eye drops and all that stuff, but apparently not, because I was the 4th member of my family to get it. So, I don't know. I feel kind of stupid, and I could see it coming last night, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. If you ever, like a hangover's coming, you're like, how can I prevent this? That's what I was trying to do.
No, you don't. No,
that's not how it works.
Seeing a hangover coming is just called drinking. Yeah,
but you're like you can see you're like, boy, I've had too much to drink and not enough water. Is there a way? Is it too late for me to remedy the situation? That's what I was trying to do with the pink eye. It didn't work.
What did you do? Like, what steps did you take to remedy this pink eye situation last night?
Well, like my kids got medicated drops. I thought, look, I'll pop these in now. Maybe that will help the situation. I was being very diligent about hand washing for extended periods of time. I thought maybe I was hoping it was psychosomatic. Like I was just thinking my eyes were beginning to itch because, everyone else had pink eye. But no, again, none of that was a solution. I just got it instead.
Now, medically speaking, Cody, pink eye, conjunctivitis, the official term, is a very common disorder. It's a very common disease in America. And a lot of people tend to just kind of power through it. They'll continue working, especially when it's like the last day of the week, or like a holiday weekend. So
Right before I'm going to be off.
yeah, or like let's imagine, just for instance, that a staff is very shorthanded, that there's already a lot of people gone. So it's sort of an all hands on deck. Whoever is available should probably just power through minor issues such as this. And the fact that you decided to take the day off work does raise into questions about your work ethic and your commitment and really just your politeness to me.
Okay, I don't think that that's accurate. First, it's highly contagious. And your girlfriend's coming in town, and I just assumed you also didn't want pink eye.
Well, I don't just not want pink eye because my girlfriend's coming into town. I would also not like pink eye for a variety of other reasons.
But that would be one of the reasons. Now I got a kid yelling at me.
Yeah, because you guys are probably having a play date, aren't you? You don't really have pink eye, do you?
No, I do. He just wants Lightning McQueen. Desmond is the healthiest member of the household. So
you guys are having a hell of a day. I know it. You're taking the whole family out. You guys are going, I don't know, pumpkin patch or something. I'm jealous. I wish I was in the Tap. You know what? I wish I was in the Tap family today. Sounds like you guys are going to have a blast.
Okay.
Are you still
can think that now.
Are you still having people over tomorrow?
No, I'm not having people over tomorrow.
Good choice. Good choice.
Canceled.
Good choice.
Wait,
That's a good choice right there.
You canceled Thanksgiving?
I don't know what to tell you. Thanksgiving's canceled.
So what are you going to do tomorrow? Just sit around?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know what else to do. I mean, look, Friday is in play. I think.
Yeah, you sound
we're
fine.
See Family tomorrow. That's out.
I mean, pink eye is just an eye thing. It doesn't affect
thing.
your.
I've never seen
not a voice thing. No.
Chris, have you ever seen someone host a radio show with their eyes?
I personally, if I were,
okay to see people in a day.
Yeah, if I were you, I would.
Allowed back at school after like 48 hours. So
Yeah,
I'm hoping for
I
Friday.
would not want anybody with pink eye in the same building as me. So I don't blame him for staying. That's a good choice.
Couldn't you have come in? We're a major radio station. Odyssey's a massive company. We've got lots of nice equipment. Don't you think you could have just come in, got some remote equipment, and hosted the show from your house?
Maybe, but I didn't want to.
Okay, so now we're getting to the bottom of it. So now we're starting to see that it isn't really about how sick you are. By the way, you know that Kansas plays a massive game. The battle for Atlantis, Cody. Kansas, North Carolina State, 11 o'clock. I was planning on totally checking out from about 11 to 1 o'clock and letting you host the show. Now I can't do that because I'm doing your job. You're the one getting Wally Pitt, and now I can't enjoy the Jayhawks today. Shouldn't you? Don't you feel bad about that, and shouldn't you feel bad about that?
No, I don't, because you can watch KU K-State this weekend. That will be a bigger Kansas game this weekend.
Different sport, Cody. You don't know this as a UMKC grad, but there's two
in November.
There's two sports that matter for the University of Kansas right now: football and basketball. I know you wouldn't understand that. No, you don't have the same issues with the Roos. You'll be able to watch all their games this weekend.
The Roos don't even have a football team, and they played yesterday and were victorious.
Were they?
Yeah, they were.
Oh wow, Roo up. Hashtag Roo up. All right, man. Well, thanks. Thanks for nothing, actually. I don't have anything to say thanks for. Thanks for nothing. I have nothing prepared for today. This is going to be a joke of a show, and I hope you have an incredible weekend.
Okay, great. Enjoy your day.
All right. Thanks, Cody. That is Cody Tapp of Cody and Gold here on 610 Sports Radio. Didn't sound sick to me. Sounded like somebody who probably could have hosted the show, but you know what?
If I were you, I would be very happy he's not.
I'm like an NBA coach right after we trade a guy. We don't want someone here who doesn't want to be here. We're worried about the guys.
That sounds like some NFL coaches too. It sounds like Mike Tomlin.
We're worried about the guys in that locker.
We don't want to hold anybody hostage.
Yeah, we don't need any outside distractions.
Yeah.
We're worried about the guys who we have on the team. Pete Sweeney's going to join us coming up here about 20 minutes from now. And if you're just tuning in this week, remember that we are streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. So if you want to watch along, you can see Chris and I's ugly mugs from now until 2 o'clock.
I got a good face.
Okay, you can see.
Speak for yourself.
You can see my ugly mug.
Yeah.
And Chris's beautiful face.
Thank you.
For the next 3+ hours. It's so funny watching how this offense has played out for Kansas City this year and comparing it to not just what the other teams in the AFC West did. We know how much money the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Chargers spent. But comparing it to everybody around the NFL and how they were on a spending spree. Even the teams who were re-signing, right? We think about the big free agent acquisitions or the big trades. The Eagles trading for A.J. Brown, the Dolphins trading for Tyreek Hill, the Russell Wilson trade. But like Stephon Diggs got a massive contract extension. The Bills were faced with the exact same situation that the Chiefs were. We've got a wide receiver that we either need to extend or trade. The Chiefs made their decision. The Dolphins made the Bills made the opposite decision. They said, we're going to give Stephon Diggs massive contract extension. We're going to make him one of the 5 highest paid wide receivers in the NFL. And we knew at the time the reason why the Chiefs were doing one thing and the rest of the league was doing the other, because the rest of the league, Chris, is chasing. The rest of the league is chasing not just the Chiefs, but they're chasing a title. When you already got a ring on that finger, when you already got one hanging up in the Ring of Honor, you don't have to worry about chasing the same way that the rest of the NFL does. The Chiefs didn't overspend. They didn't go out and hand out bloated contracts to Tyreek Hill or Tyrann Mathieu. And what do they have to show for it? Just the number one offense in the NFL by every useful metric. Who should we be crediting the most for the fact that the Chiefs took a conservative approach this offseason and they're still in first place? It's not like, oh, well, you got to watch out for the Bills and you got to watch out for the Eagles and the Dolphins. They're all right there. No, the Chiefs still have the best offense in the NFL without the best deep threat, without Tyreek Hill. He's in Miami, still, by the way, performing well. And you go back to last Sunday, you're without your number 1 receiver, you're without your number 3 receiver, the guy who you thought was going to step up and be your new number 3 or number 2, Kadarius Toney. He goes down, so what do? You bring in a rookie wide receiver who couldn't see the field. He goes for 5 catches, 60 yards. Your starting running back goes down. What do? You bring in your 7th-round rookie who goes for 100 yards, the best rushing performance that you've had in a year. You just throw 3 tight end sets out there for 4 quarters. You got Jody Fortson catching 40-yard bombs on wheel routes. Like, it doesn't matter. The personnel doesn't seem to matter. So I know the guys I should be looking at. I should be looking at Patrick Mahomes. I should be looking at Andy Reid in the way that he's schematically far and away superior to all of his peers with what he does with offensive play calling. Brett Veach being shrewd, not overpaying. Travis Kelce at age 33 looking like he's actually better. Somehow, the age at which most tight ends start to fall off, Travis Kelce is accelerating his game. If I just look at the offense this year, and I want to hand out credit, who's the first person you're starting with?
I mean, that's obviously Mahomes, because we saw it in New England with Tom Brady. You got your quarterback as a constant every year. Every year, we got the best quarterback in the NFL. Okay, now we can worry about making sure that we don't spend too much on wide receivers, making sure that we don't spend too much on our O-line, and we can just kind of pick and choose where we spend the big money at. The Chiefs took the Patriots' approach this offseason of, we got a quarterback that makes us competitive every year, no matter if we have a top 5 receiver or not. Now let's pick and choose where we're going to be. We're going to spend our big money at. And this year, because we saw 2 years ago before the 2020 season, they were passing out money left and right to keep star players here. Chris Jones passed out money to Kelce. This year, though, instead they decided, let's invest in youth. Let's not spend the big money if we don't have to, and let's wait and see who actually earns that big contract. The Chiefs did the exact opposite of what everyone else in the league was doing, the exact opposite of what I think most Chiefs fans...
It's not supposed to work.
It's not supposed to work.
It's not this quickly.
It was a retooling year, essentially. This was supposed to be the year that the Chiefs fall off a little bit, but because of your quarterback, and you got to give Andy a ton of credit, too, because he's done a lot with these receivers, he gets those 2 guys have helped this team continue to compete when they really should not have, just from an objective point of view before the season started.
If this isn't peaking for Patrick Mahomes, then what is?
I don't know. I mean, we thought 2018 was peak Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he turned 27 2 months ago. Like, this is not the age when guys start to peak yet. Like, at least historically speaking, he is years away from reaching that point. That's usually around the 29, 30-year mark where guys have been in the league for almost a decade. You've sort of seen everything the defenses can throw at you. this is like 2 years before he's supposed to hit his prime. But here you have him against the Chargers, and I get it. The Chargers defensively have been a disappointment this year. But to be without your number one, your number three, your number four receiver, you lose your starting running back, and you go out, throw for 329 yards and 3 touchdowns, and you win a game against a team that's probably going to the playoffs in a divisional game on the road. And I get it. It's SoFi, so it's not a real – you get what I'm saying. Like if this is not the best, then what's the best look like? Because you've got this sort of divergence of two things that aren't supposed to happen, Chris. First off, nobody's ever supposed to be this good this quickly in their career. So, like, statistically, I don't know if Patrick Mahomes is ever going to be able to top 2018. But if you go back and ask Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning or Tom Brady what the best year of their career was there a year where you just felt like you could do no wrong? I would bet you that some of them are going to say seasons that weren't statistically their best years. I don't think that's how quarterbacks remember specific years. They don't remember it based off of how many touchdowns and how many interceptions they threw. They base it off of the command that they have over their offense, and I don't think I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes look so comfortable in an offense because it's different than what was happening in 2018. Defenses aren't playing him the same way. Defenses now are throwing you something that you weren't seeing 2 years ago, and yet you're still beating it. Last year we saw that bother them a little bit. We saw them have to sort of recalibrate. We're not seeing that this year.
No, we were used to seeing defenses be hyper-aggressive initially against Mahomes, sending a lot of blitzes, trying to put him under pressure and test whether or not he was going to be able to crumble or not, and he didn't. He's great against pressure. I mean, amazing when teams blitz him. I don't know why teams still even do it. Like, the Bills are a team that just has slowly scaled back the amount of times that they blitz great quarterbacks. They'd rather just sit in coverage. And we saw with the Bengals when they played the Chiefs at Arrowhead last year.
The Titans did it 2 weeks ago.
They was like, let's not blitz. Let's send 3-4 guys, and let's just drop back in coverage and force Patrick Mahomes to be patient.
You got to have the personnel to do it.
Right,
but more and more teams now are building that way through the draft. They're saying, no, we need more edge rushers. We need more guys who can get after the quarterback.
Yeah, and they're also focusing on getting like linebackers who can play more in coverage as opposed to guys who are just gonna be good against the run.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing a lot of changes happening because of guys like Patrick Mahomes. And it's so interesting to watch because a lot of these teams still, like, they think they figured it out, and then Mahomes finds a way around it. Like, everyone just wants to sit back in coverage this year because of what we've seen from Mahomes when you try to put pressure.
Yeah.
And it still isn't working.
Yeah, I think defensive coordinators are spinning, trying to figure out what to do. And Andy Reid deserves a lot of credit, too. Andy Reid is not – he refuses to become stagnant offensively. He refuses to – not continue to innovate and find ways to use whatever pieces you have because that's a sign of a great coach. As good coaches have good systems, and they find players to fit into those systems. Great coaches build systems and rebuild systems year after year based off the talent they have at their disposal. Here is Nate Taylor yesterday, who joined us on Cody and Gold, talking about the maturity and how evident it is that this offense has taken a step in that direction this season.
So it's a mature offense because, yes, there's new parts. Yes, there's no Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce's still the best tight end in the league. So guess what? He dictates your coverage. And guess what? We all know that now. And guess what? The quarterback's got experience against quarters, cover two, single high, blitzes. Like, where are the options to go if everybody's healthy and everybody executes at a high level and the offensive line is intact? And I know people are wondering about Lucas Niang, and I think he will be elevated to the active roster, but Andrew Riley's the right tackle. Like, this is the offensive line that you had last year that played very well in the postseason. And guess what, guys? They're trending back to being one of the best offensive lines in the league at the midway to the second half point of the season. So the quarterback can do everything. He is the most talented passer of the football in the league. And now he's seen just about every coverage and has options to go to when he sees what is available on the field on a given snap situation down in distance.
Isn't that scary to think about? Like, if Nate's right there, that he's seen every coverage, and you're a defensive coordinator and you're saying, well, we've thrown everything at him, and look at where he's at. running away with the league MVP. He doesn't have the same weapons he's had. It's, at least in terms of top-heavy talent, this is the worst group he's had. In terms of depth, it's the best group he's had. It depends on how you want to look at it. But now you've got not just a quarterback who's seen every coverage, but a quarterback-coach combination who's seen every coverage. Because now Andy Reid knows how to utilize and equip Patrick Mahomes to get the most out of him. Nate mentioned it as a one-off, but Travis Kelce is, well, I'm going to talk about this later, but he's not just the best tight end in the league. He was named the AFC Player of the Week, obviously. His contract makes him maybe the best value, the best contract in the NFL. You're not just getting good production out of him. You're getting elite wide receiver production out of a tight end in a position that pays its players about half as much as they pay their wide receivers. What's the worst game Travis Kelce's had this year? He had a 5-catch, 51-yard performance against the Chargers the first go-around, and if you remember, had a big catch late, the one where he got power-bombed by Derwin James to set up a score.
It was a spine buster.
The spine buster?
It was a double-A spine buster there.
I mean, the least amount of receiving yards he's had in a game was against the Raiders, and you may recall, 7 catches, 25 yards, 4 touchdowns, the most ridiculous stat line ever. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. When you have a guy who is unguardable, that's a new element as well. We wondered what was going to happen. Oh, our defense is going to be putting more attention on Travis Kelce. Is Patrick Mahomes going to be force-feeding Travis Kelce more? No, it's just the best. It's just the best combination between quarterback and receiver in the league. Yes, receiver. Because I would take Travis Kelce over any wide receiver in the NFL. If you just said, I'm starting a team, any pass catcher you want, Travis Kelce is the first guy I'm going after. Because I know what teams do to, at least in theory, take elite wide receivers out of the game. What are you doing to take Travis Kelce out of the game? There's nothing you can do.
It's so hard because he has this deceptive amount of speed and agility, because you don't expect that from tight ends. Like, tight ends generally you expect them to just be like big lumbering guys who run their routes, catch very contested balls like we saw from Gronkowski, and then, maybe they truck a dude or two because those DBs are way too small to tackle them by themselves, and they go there and get a few yards here and there. You're not expecting a guy to juke a defender out of their shoes. Like, I think the most interesting thing about that game on Sunday against the Chargers was how many, like, him after the catch is what is so spectacular about him. He catches the ball and then just leaves guys in the dust. Like, that second touchdown he caught, they had a safety on him, man coverage, I think it was 26, or 24 or whatever. And as he's covering him on man coverage, he catches it and then takes off towards the end zone, and the other guy just dives in this, like you see in the sports movies where the guys make that futile dive attempt to get a tackle, and they always miss. That's what it looked like, and I think the dude got hurt on the play too. I kind of felt bad for him for that.
Dude, don't you? You know how futile that would feel to go through a whole week of game plan and installs, and the whole thing centers around one guy. Yeah, and then you still can't stop him. Kicks your ass.
Yeah, like Derwin James might be him or Kevin Byard might be the best cover safety, like man cover safety in the league.
I said this earlier this week. If you could create a player in a lab to defend Travis Kelce one-on-one, you would come out with Derwin James.
Yeah, and he could not stop Kelce when it mattered the most. Like, Derwin James was on him on that game-clinching touchdown pass. He was playing man coverage on him, and he still got his ass burned and gave up that touchdown. Think about that. Derwin James is the best guy, him or Byard. But I think I give Derwin a little bit more there. Like, he's probably the best guy to man cover Kelce, and he still couldn't do it. Not only that, but they finally called a holding play on him. Kelce gets held almost every single play, and they almost never call it. And yet he could not, for the life of him, get his hands on Kelce. And it's just amazing to me how at his age, with his level of agility and speed, him being able to go out there and still outclass, from a physical standpoint, guys that are much younger than him, it's amazing to watch from Kelce.
913-586-7610 if you want to chime in on the conversation. And if you mostly just want to text in to neg Cody for not being here, which is mostly what we're getting. I mean, he hasn't been on the show for like 15 minutes, and people are still texting in about Cody. So keep it coming. 913-586-7610. I'm not going to have anything negative to say today. I'm just not. We're going until 2 o'clock. I am not going to say one negative
Nothing
thing about
negative?
I don't have anything negative to say.
Really?
It's really, you could do it. Like, if I wanted to talk about the special teams, if I wanted to talk about punt returning.
So you're just going to avoid special teams talk today?
Yeah, I don't care about it.
No punt returns,
Let's
nothing?
stop acting like special teams is equal to offense and defense.
I mean, it could cost you some games.
Yeah, it's cost them one game.
It'll cost you some games, man.
You know what? No team's perfect. This is the best team in the NFL, Chris.
I mean, I agree with you, but, like, we know that in big games, those mistakes can add up.
They do, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Every team's got problems, man. Everyone's got problems.
Yeah, everyone has problems.
And their problems are bigger than the Chiefs' problems. And it's the holiday season, okay? I'm not going to send everybody into Thanksgiving with some negativity. We're going to be positive today. Let's see if our next guest agrees with that sentiment. Pete Sweeney of Arrowhead Pride going to join us on the other side. This is Cody and Gold, 610 Sports Radio.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Subscribe and download all new episodes of Nick's Wavin' in the Wheat podcast, released every Thursday on the 435 Podcast Network and the Odyssey app.
Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using promo code CTAPP, CTAPP, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. I love those. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Sign up today and use that promo code CTAPP, C-T-A-P-P, and find out why nothing beats a win at the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager and physically present in Kansas to bet. New customers offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
When you need a new roof, especially if you have storm damage, the last thing you want to hear from a roofing company is that it's going to be weeks or even months before they can get to it because of supply issues. Well, supply issues are no issue at Shamrock Roofing. As one of the largest roofing companies in America, we stocked up early and we stocked up big. That means our warehouse has everything we need to do your job now. And because we stocked up before the supply crunch, we paid a lot less than anyone looking for roofing supplies now and can share those savings with you. No one in Kansas City can install a better roof at a better price with a better warranty than Shamrock Roofing. And remember, at Shamrock, the first guy you meet at the door is the same guy who's going to manage your entire roofing project. One call does it all. Call Shamrock Roofing today or visit online at shamrockroofer.com.
One call does it all. Call Shamrock Roofing today.
Gomer's has all you need for holidays and game days. Voted Casey's #1 liquor store year after year. It's Gomer's mission to be the best in price, selection, and service. 5 convenient locations in the KC Metro. Or shop online at gomers.com for curbside or delivery.
A ring shimmering with 3 blue sapphires for the one who's never left your side. A gold necklace with a lavender gemstone for your dearest friend. A romantic diamond bracelet for a new love. At Shane Company, we create treasures for the people you treasure. With the widest selection of fine jewelry, it'll be easy to find magical holiday gifts for your family and friends. We know your gift represents your love. That's why we put so much care into everything we make. At Shane Company, our diamonds are hand-selected one by one, so they sparkle from every angle. Our gemstones shine in a full spectrum of colors, so you can choose your ideal shade. Our cultured pearls are hand-matched, so when the light hits them, they illuminate beautifully. Visit us today. We're open every day of the week. You can also set up an appointment to meet with a jewelry consultant in the store. We offer virtual appointments too. This year, find true treasures for the ones you love.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-610-9256. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-610-9256. That's 800-610-9256. Again, 800-610-9256.
When temperatures drop, COVID-19 cases may rise. So if you test positive and are at high risk, act fast. Even if your symptoms feel mild, ask your provider if an authorized oral treatment could be right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Friday, the biggest World Cup showdown kicks off on Fox.
Oh my goodness!
Christian Pulisic leads the Stars and Stripes.
What can this kid do?
Against the unstoppable Harry Kane and global powerhouse England.
What a night!
Team USA face their toughest test of the tournament with everything on the line and a chance to shock the world.
That is magnificent!
USA, England. Coverage begins Friday at 1 Eastern on Fox.
Some fans gear up for game day, but some fans follow their team every day. That's why the Locked On Podcast Network has a daily podcast for your favorite NBA team. Every trade, every overtime win, every game, our local experts cover the biggest stories around your team every day. Search Locked On plus your favorite NBA team on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts. The Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. This season, tailgate with Andy's Pick 6.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a Pick 6 or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Brown and Crouppen Studios.
Pete Sweeney, 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 Pete Sweeney.
Pete Sweeney, Arrowhead Pride. No days off for him, man. You kidding me? Thanksgiving Eve. I would imagine Pete wouldn't let a little pink eye derail him. Let's find out. Chris, you'll have to put him on because I made fun of Cody yesterday for not being able to work the phones when we had Vinny Pasquantino on. And now I'm on this side, and turns out this phone just doesn't work. So,
Is it the phone or is it just you?
It's definitely not me because it didn't work for Cody either. And Gold, when he's here, is always the one who puts the guests on, and he sits over there.
I mean, you could have sat in that chair, too.
I could have.
Nobody was stopping you from sitting on the other side of the phone.
I'm pot committed now.
No, you're not. I could flip the other one up. It takes a second.
Oh, yeah. Pete Sweeney, Arrowhead Pride, joining us now on Cody and Gold 610 Sports Radio. Hi, Pete.
Hey, am I on the air?
You are. Are you ready? Do you need some more time to get ready?
No pink eye to report from my household, so I'm good to go.
All right, good. I didn't know if it was something going around. It is highly contagious, so be on high alert this holiday weekend. I appreciate. Go ahead.
I know we're going to get into some Chiefs stuff, but look, I understand Cody has kids, but Thanksgiving Eve, pink guy just feels a little convenient. You know what I mean?
I believe him. I believe Cody got pink eye. I believe it. He's a dedicated man. He loves his job.
Okay.
I believe him.
You don't know the same Cody that I know.
I've known him for a long time. I believe that he would show up. I 100% believe he would show up.
Let me counter that, Unocero. What is Cody's number one favorite out-of-work hobby?
Probably cooking, like baking stuff.
Specifically baking.
Yeah, baking
cooking.
stuff.
Yes, probably cooking, and there's a lot of people eating tomorrow. That's all.
He
said
told us
canceled
Thanksgiving's canceled.
He said it's done with.
Okay.
Now, if he posts something on Facebook otherwise tomorrow, we know he's a liar. But I
We'll be
believe
watching.
Cody. Yeah, I'll be scrolling through my timeline tomorrow.
I'm taking some time as well out of my Thanksgiving to check in on what Cody has prepared, because if it looks like it might have taken 48 hours, we'll have to.
We'll all be on high alert tomorrow. Pete, this is actually one of the rare occasions where I'm interested in listening to an Andy Reid press conference. Usually he keeps it pretty close to the vest, but this is one of those weeks where the injuries sort of piling up. I know maybe it doesn't matter all that much for the Rams game, but you got about 7 weeks left in the season. I just want to know who's going to be available and sort of how to evaluate who I should expect to be playing roles in the offense this weekend against the Rams. Is there one specific injury that you're most interested in hearing an update on?
I'll give you one on each side of the football. For me, it's Juju Smith-Schuster on the offensive side. I think of all the injuries that we've seen so far, you consider Clyde on that side. Still, Juju feels like the most important. He was really hitting his stride with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes when he suffered this concussion. And I think when we all saw him go down and react the way he did, we sort of assumed that he wouldn't be available for this coming game. We did see on the other side, and also in the concussion protocol, Chris Lamons at the Friday practice. Neither Smith-Schuster or Lamons ended up playing in the game. And so we'll see if they're trying to work their way back today. Every concussion is different. And then on the defensive side, for me, it's Juan Thornhill. A little bit of a concern there in the fact that he injured his calf. He was quickly ruled questionable, even more quickly ruled out, which is never really a good sign for the idea that someone could play the next week when they suffer an injury. And so it's okay. How long is it going to be maybe for Juan? How serious are all these things? And, we're leaning into, I think, some of the young players here in Kansas City. And it was okay in the wide receiver room, but now Brian Cook is going to be thrown into the fire a bit here. Asked Steve Spagnuolo about that yesterday. They have confidence in him. They really think he's this cerebral type of player, but we'll see if he can fill in for what would be a full game for Thornhill if Thornhill can't go.
Yeah, with the offense, it's just sort of a built-in expectation. There's a baseline with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce. As long as all three of those guys are in the stadium, I'm going to have less concerns about what the offense can do than defensively. And that, to me, injuries aside, is always going to be something I'm sort of on the edge about, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because it's not often, Pete, you can have so much roster turnover at cornerback specifically. I mean, at high-value position, probably one of the 5 most important positions on the field. You're playing not just rookies, but 4th-round rookie, 7th-round rookie. And this secondary has more than held their own. I know there was the one play, the deep pass to Keenan Allen last week, where you sort of wish you could have had that one back. But specifically with Trent McDuffie, who's got actually less experience than his rookie counterparts, I felt like going into last week, it was the first real test that he's had since coming back from injury, knowing that Keenan Allen and Mike Williams were going to be out there, one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL. How do you think McDuffie fared in that game, and what's your evaluation of him halfway through the season, albeit it's been a shortened season for him?
Well, I think they're putting him in positions to succeed. One of the things that we noticed early in the game prior to Mike Williams leaving is the fact that they had switched L'Jarius Sneed because he's got a little bit more length, and put McDuffie in a position where he can succeed, because at that stage when it's Williams versus McDuffie, it's 5'11" versus 6'4", and look, you could be blanketing someone, and we've always seen when I know you're a big baseball guy, Nick. Tie goes to the runner. The tie usually goes to the receiver when it's a perfect pitch and catch, like we saw. And so there's only so much you can do with that size. So they're putting him in a position to succeed, and I tend to think that's very smart. And look, when there are players that are not 5 inches taller than him, he's good to go. So when I think you have these absurd size matchups, you're going to see the Chiefs tend to do that. But I've just been really impressed with, and I think you kind of made the point, but really just the guys that are playing like vets that are on rookie contracts. It's almost like this limitless list. I mean, if you really go through it quickly, it's Creed Humphrey, it's a Trey Smith. You have now Isaiah Pacheco as the starting running back. George Karlaftis is in that mix on a rookie contract. You have Willie Gay and Nick Bolton. Now you have Trent McDuffie. You have Joshua Williams. You have Jalen Watson. The amount of contributors, and you add Brian Cook to that mix this week, the amount of contributors that are on rookie deals that are playing at a high level is sort of absurd. It is a very underrated part about this Chiefs story because, you're so dominated by Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. But, it is a team football game. And for a lot of these rookies to be playing at a high level and to have them on rookie deals is such an advantage and allows you to afford contracts to a Patrick Mahomes, a Travis Kelce, or a Chris Jones.
Yeah, I mean, you have to get it. If you're going to hand out those, $29 million a year deals, who knows what's going to happen with Chris Jones, but Patrick Mahomes, one of the highest paid. If you're going to do that, you have to nail the draft picks. And so far for this draft class, it seems like it's working out. One of the guys I think a lot of people have been skeptical about all season, Sky Moore, with the injuries last week. He gets an increased role, 5 catches, over 60 yards, his best game as a pro. What stood out to me about Sky, Pete, was the fact that it didn't just look like a guy who was producing because Mahomes had to force him the ball because there was no one else. Like, he looked like a guy who belonged. I thought his route running was crisp. He didn't look like a rookie. And I think that was the first time this year where I've said that about Sky Moore. Do you think there will be more opportunities coming for him, or was that just a product of how we saw the injuries play out on Sunday night?
Well, Andy Reid will occasionally talk about food and candy bars and how he can't ignore, I think it was on Halloween, he can't
Mr.
walk
Good
past
Bar.
Mr. Good Bar. Man, I saw some of these free releases from Sky Moore. I think those are going to be looking pretty tasty to Andy Reid. I don't know how you can sort of ignore what he's able to do. Now, it's a very brief look here. There's a lot more college film that showed you that, but you always have to sort of see it translate to the pros. But for him to have the releases that he does, you always look for what differentiates these guys. And, man, really watch, if you can, and go back and watch these catches and what he's doing at the line of scrimmage. And, sure, he's not as fast as a guy like we saw in Kansas City and Tyreek or McCole or anything like that. But these releases where he's able to sort of shimmy shake and all of a sudden has 3 yards of separation within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage is unique. It's rare. And I think especially in a scenario where I don't want to assume this, and we'll see the first injury report this week, but I don't think Kadarius Toney is going to be available. McCole Hardman obviously is not going to be available. We'll see about Juju Smith-Schuster. Again, that looked really bad, so we don't know if that'll cost him a second game. So the more that Sky can show, hey, Andy, I can do things that nobody else on this roster can, I think the more likely you are to see more of Sky Moore even when these guys do get healthy.
When you just look at the offensive success as a whole this year, I expected there to be more growing pains, at least early in the season, transitioning to life without Tyreek Hill. If there were growing pains, they were short-lived and not all that noticeable because this is the number one offense in the NFL by every useful metric, and that's with the injuries that we're talking about here. When you look at how the Chiefs have essentially not skipped a beat while all these other teams around the NFL went on spending sprees and are still competing for second place, I know it's not just one thing, but who deserves, if I asked you who deserves the credit, who's the first person you're looking at? Is it Andy Reid? Is it Brett Veach? Is it Mahomes? Where are your eyes immediately going to?
I think it's all three of them, but if you're trying to rank them, right, I think it has to be the player first. I don't know if, and I'm picking on him a little bit here just because he's not Mahomes. I like the player a lot, but I don't know if Alex Smith is having the same production with Juju and MVS that he did with Tyreek Hill on the team. And I just, that's just kind of my gut feel on it. So I think it has to be Mahomes.
But not just him, but not just Alex Smith, by the way, but look at another guy in the league.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, right? The Bills did the opposite. The Bills were in the exact same situation. You had a wide receiver already on the team. You knew you'd either have to extend him or trade him. They gave Stephon Diggs that massive contract. And I'm not saying that Josh Allen has fallen off this year, but Patrick Mahomes looks better than he did a year ago. You can't say the same thing about Josh Allen, the quarterback who is constantly being linked to Mahomes.
Yeah, and I think even maybe a slightly better comparison too is Aaron Rodgers. Now, I know that Juju Smith-Schuster has had 1,000 yards in this league before, so it's a little different when he's with younger players and Sammy Watkins and Randall Cobb. But at the same time, it was let's replace what we had with more, guys that are a little bit worse, obviously, or I should say a lot of it worse than the Devontae Adams. The Chiefs have a huge wild card there in Travis Kelce because he's a freak and he obviously doesn't age, and it doesn't seem like he has fallen off at all, and so that is a grand help. But yeah, I think it has to be Mahomes because I think the challenge was Mahomes, and the people that don't like Mahomes nationally that like to pick on him, they will always say he's a product of Andy Reid and his weapons. And I think those critics were really looking at this year as a means and a definite that Mahomes was going to fall off. And it simply hasn't happened. And then I think it obviously has to be next, maybe a tie between Andy Reid and Brett Veach. And, they established guys that they wanted to bring in. We just talked about Sky Moore, who they were able to take in the second round, and even after a trade back to get themselves some more picks. And the class as a whole has been really good. And then Andy Reid just putting these guys in position for them to succeed. The best thing about Andy Reid, and I think from a creative play calling standpoint, is he adjusts his play calling to the strengths. So you lose Tyreek Hill, and you have all these other players that are not as fast, don't have as much burst. But at the same time, okay, Juju's a possession guy. MVS can stretch the field. You're starting to see what Sky Moore, Justin Watson was a nice surprise. How can we put these guys in the best possible position to get them open? And so for me, it's Mahomes, and then I'll go to a tie between Reid and Veach second.
Speaking of Veach, I feel like his decision-making process has gotten significantly easier across the course of the season. You came into the year wondering, okay, what are we going to do about Orlando Brown Jr.? Are we going to give him this massive deal? What about Chris Jones? That's typically the age when Brett Veach decides to move on from guys. Well, it seems pretty clear to me now that Orlando Brown Jr. not getting a contract extension from the Chiefs, and Chris Jones it's just about the dollar amount. Is that your read on this situation as well?
This is going to be the most interesting decision, I think, of the Brett Veach era, because he has shown us a real tendency to not give bad contracts out. And a bad contract usually is defined when a player starts to enter Chris Jones's age, where it's going to carry them into being 31, 32. And Jones still has another year left, and so there can be some negotiation, and we could see a situation where Jones could play on that final year. But when you have a player of this caliber, you tend to think, okay, maybe we should sign this guy a little bit earlier, try to save a little bit of money here. And things open up on their books. There's more TV money and stuff coming in. Cap especially is expected to be a little bit more. I think he made the right move on Orlando Brown. Orlando Brown's been all right, but he hasn't been the best of tackle in football. And so not giving him that deal was good. I think that is a situation where the writing is on the wall in a sense. I think Orlando Brown, if he wants to stay in Kansas City, is going to have to meet what Brett Veach is willing to give him. And if he doesn't, I think they're going to try to figure out something else. The most interesting one is Jones, because this guy is getting better as the weeks go on, and it's looking like 10 sacks is a given, and you're starting to wonder, could he get to 15? And then all of a sudden, there's going to be a lot of other eyeballs around the league that are going to have interest in bringing in this guy regardless of his age, because there are other teams that really don't follow that methodology of the age thing that we saw with Veach and Hitchens and Matthew and moving on from those guys. And so I am wondering what happens here. I do think there will be talks, but I do wonder if something gets done this offseason.
Pete Sweeney, check out his work at Arrowhead Pride. Pete, thank you for the time, and thank you for your courage, sir.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving, fellas.
All right, thank you. That is Pete Sweeney, Arrowhead Pride, with us here on 610 Sports Radio. All right.
Well, wait, you thanked him for his courage?
Yeah, don't you think that was a courageous guest appearance?
No.
You don't think Pete showed any courage? Wow, okay.
I
see you didn't say that to his face.
He does that all the time.
Okay.
If it was here, I'd say it to his face.
No, I thought he gave a little bit.
Intimidating.
I thought he gave a little bit extra today. You know?
Did he?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good Pete performance.
I think he did a lot of things.
Good performance here, but I don't know if it was anything extra.
I think he did a lot of things that the common man wouldn't do. So.
Well, I mean, the common man isn't doing radio interviews, so yeah, you're right about that.
I consider myself a common man. You know what? I'm not going to sit here.
None of us are common men.
You know what? I'm not going to sit here and let you talk badmouth. A good man, a good American man, Pete Sweeney. Let's get to Nick's notable notes.
Gotta write something down. Nick's notable notes.
All right, so this is a little bit interesting because normally this is my opportunity to cut into Cody and Alex's show, but seeing as
So
how,
just more time for you today?
yeah, just more time. Do you have anything prepared that you'd like to talk about?
I didn't know
instead?
we were doing this, so
Yeah.
no.
Well, I didn't prep you for it, but then
You
again,
did not prep me for it, yeah.
a lot of this stuff is happening last minute. Seeing as how
I got a text at 9 o'clock last night.
Seeing as I still don't have confirmation that Cody is actually sick.
I think he's sick. I believe him.
I want to look at these Thanksgiving slate games. Is this the best Thanksgiving slate of games that we've had? The worst one,
the Lions one, right?
Is the Lions one, but even the Lions have been a little salty lately. I don't expect the Lions to win, and the Lions play on Thanksgiving every year, which I think is actually the reason why I have optimism. They've won 3 in a row, Chris. And if you're telling me that the Lions are playing on Thanksgiving every year, I guess this is the version of the Lions that I would prefer, one that's not, unequivocally the worst team in the NFL. They're just amongst the worst teams in the NFL, and they're actually playing good football right now.
They're interesting. They're interesting right now, yeah. I mean, their offense scores a lot of points. Well, at least lately, they've been scoring points.
They were scoring points early in the season as well. They
Yeah.
just have historically one of the worst defenses of all time, which
really bad.
is not the formula that I would probably employ heading into a game against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, probably not the best strategy.
The line's 9.5 in that one, but the Bills haven't been playing great as of late. Looked like last week was sort of a get-right game for them, so I'm fully expecting them to handle that one. Giants-Cowboys, on paper it should seem good. 7-3, 7-3. Two of the best teams in the NFC East. Well, I guess every team in the NFC East is pretty good. But the Cowboys are 9.5-point favorites. It does sort of feel like the time of the season when teams are starting to expose themselves a little bit after maybe getting hot starts.
Get exposed. Expose themselves probably not the word.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a different.
That's a different thing.
That's something that we talk about with.
we don't talk about that on the air.
Yeah, with Cody. He's not here, so we're not going to throw him under the bus any more than we already have. Are the Giants, is this where the wheels fall off the wagon a little bit? It felt like it was sort of pixie dust. It felt like it was sort of fool's gold early in the year with the wins.
I've been talking about this a lot. They kind of remind me of the 2010 Chiefs. Like a team that will win some games they probably shouldn't win because there's a lot of teams that are around the middle right now. And so they started off hot, but if you look at their schedule the rest of the way, there's a whole lot of losable games there for the Giants. So I think the wheels fall off the wagon.
Here's the problem. Early in the season when you're just winning thanks to running, they weren't just winning because of Saquon Barkley. They were putting games away with Saquon Barkley. Game-winning drives by running the ball. Nobody does that. It was almost a novelty item. It was like, wow, look at what the Giants are doing.
That's cute.
The second they start losing, you say, that's why teams don't do that.
Yes.
That's why teams have great quarterbacks because it's much more sustainable to win games like that. I love watching Saquon just in terms of offensive players. He's right up there with Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce in terms of guys I just want to watch because he is a treat. I don't know if it's sustainable in the long run, and the Cowboys feel like over the next month or so that they're going to enter that conversation amongst the Super Bowl contenders from the NFC.
Yeah, that game against the Lions on Sunday, that was the game where you were like, okay, this is who the Giants are.
All right, last one, Patriots-Vikings. The Vikings, I feel like, have been fraudulent all season long.
Me too.
Patriots are doing exactly what you would expect them to do. Last year, they sort of started hot and caught a lot of waves. Then they come in this year. Mac Jones gets injured. Bailey Zappi. Is there a quarterback controversy? Quietly stringing together wins, 6-4, firmly in the playoff picture. I'm telling you this right now. First off, the Patriots are going to the playoffs. And Bill Belichick, despite the fact that I don't believe in Mac Jones and that offense whatsoever, and the fact that he hired Matt Patricia, a former defensive coordinator, to run the offense, co-run the offense with Joe Judge, they've also won 3 in a row, albeit against the Jets twice and the Colts, so say what you will about that. Bill Belichick finds ways to get the most out of his defense. Matthew Judon's been an absolute freak. I think the Patriots are winning this football game.
I think the Vikings eke it out, but it's going to be ugly. Not saying this, the Patriots are one of the least entertaining teams to watch play football because all they do is just play defense and then try not to make any mistakes on the offensive end.
Whoa. Whoa, cut the music. Chris, cut the music right now. Don't even fade it down. Just cut it all the way off. This is breaking news now from the 913. I'm delivering a package for 88. Let's go. Our Lord and Savior, Jody Fortson.
Oh, is it Jody? Oh, nice.
Dude, you know how much I'd pay for a meet and greet with Jody Fortson?
I mean, you work for the broadcast partner.
No, I want to support him.
You probably don't need to pay to do that.
But
you could probably just hit up Spec to get a credential, and then you go meet him in the locker room after winning the game.
But even if I got credentialed, I'd slip him a 20. And just thank him for his time.
He don't need your money.
I want him to have it. That's what he means to me.
No, he probably throw it in your face because he probably feel like
he wouldn't throw it in my face. He would say thank you because he's a polite man.
No, he wouldn't.
He's a polite man.
He don't need your damn money. He got Chiefs money.
You know how many times I've watched that catch from Sunday night?
I've seen it a few times. So I'm pretty sure you've seen it way more if you're talking about him like this. I would not pay to see him. And yet I have seen that catch numerous times, yeah.
I don't think it's the best throw that Mahomes had this year, but that's saying something.
Top 5.
It is. Like, he dropped that in an absolute... It just goes back to what we were talking about with this offense. The fact that you've got him dropping it in the bucket with your third-string tight end running a wheel route going up against their second corner.
And it was great coverage, too. It was great coverage. There was a safety nearby, but he wasn't in place to make a play.
It was a perfect throw to where Jody Fortson just stuck his hands out, and then boom, the ball hits you in the hands.
And the defender got his hand on the ball too. Like it was perfectly placed. Defender got his hand on the ball, and then Jody was able to just.
That was perfect.
Nah, I got this.
That was awesome.
I got this.
From the 816, 2001 Kings performance from Pete. Oh, wow. Nice pull from yesterday. We brought up the 2001 Sacramento Kings 4 times. Make it 5 now in a 2-day span. We'll see how much we get over the final 3 hours. Coming up next, Dana Hughes, Chiefs color analyst. He'll be on the call on Sunday for Chiefs Rams on the Chiefs Radio Network, and he joins us to preview that game between Kansas City and LA. This is Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio.
There's Kelsey to the end zone.
Cody and Gold brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
The difference between real custom jewelry at House of Diamonds and so-called custom jewelry elsewhere is like the difference between painting on a blank canvas versus paint by numbers. This is Gene at House of Diamonds. In our store, you don't pick from a collection of designs. Choose from a list of options. Send it off to who knows where for 6 weeks to be tweaked and call it custom. At House of Diamonds, you and we together design and create a one-of-a-kind custom ring, pendant, earrings, or necklace. And since 100% of the work from start to finish is done right here in our shop, we can deliver real custom jewelry in as little as 2 weeks, not 6, and can back it with a double lifetime warranty instead of a disclaimer. One-of-a-kind real custom jewelry, handcrafted just for you, only at House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira, and online at mybigrock.com.
Here's another Outdoor America fishing tip presented by Wholesale Batteries. The right battery the first time. Here's the host of Outdoor America, Tommy Bench.
Just because the water's freezing cold doesn't mean those fish aren't going to bite. I guarantee you're going to eat this winter, and so will the fish. Here's a good tip on how you can catch them this winter. The biggest thing I'm looking for, if you have a significant spring around, that is one of the best ways for them fish to congregate in the wintertime because that water stays a constant 55 degrees. So now you can go and catch these fish instead of being spread out in the river system. But the biggest thing is, if you can find one fish when the water's below 45 degrees, you're going to catch more. The best advice I can give you, slow down, hair jigs, some jerk baits, and you're going to catch more fish this winter. I'm Tommy Bench, and that's your tip of the week.
Outdoor America with Tommy Bench, heard every Saturday morning at 5 a.m. on 610 Sports Radio, presented by Wholesale Batteries.
Okay, we admit it. With literally thousands of different wines, craft beers, and fine spirits, Lucas Wine and Spirit Superstore can sometimes make it hard to choose. That's why we have certified sommeliers, cicerones, and spirits experts right there in the aisles to help. But one choice you will never have to make at Lucas is buying local or saving money. For 35 years, locally owned Lucas Wine and Spirit Superstores has been selling more beer, wine, and spirits in a week than some stores sell in a year. That's why we can sell it for less, way less. And while inflation is raising prices elsewhere, Lucas is holding the line or even lowering prices just in time for tailgating or a quiet fall evening on the patio. Shop local and save local at locally owned Lucas Wine and Spirit Superstores in the Northland, Overland Park, and South Kansas City. Online at lucaskc.com.
Lucas Wine and Spirit Superstore in a glass by itself.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Brown and Crouppen Studios.
This week kicks off Chiefs Week at Community Blood Center. Donate at a Community Blood Center donor center or blood drive now through December 2nd and receive a free Chiefs t-shirt and a chance to win Chiefs tickets. Make an appointment today at savealifenow.org.
When it comes to winning at football, you need a great offense, defense, and special teams. When it comes to burgers, Sonic knows you need steak, butter bacon, and cheese. That's why they're introducing the Sonic Steak Butter Bacon Cheeseburger. It's made with creamy steak seasoned butter, grilled onions, bacon, and 2 slices of melty cheese, all layered with 100% pure beef patty and served on a toasted bakery bun. Get your delicious Sonic Steak Butter Bacon Cheeseburger today. Available for a limited time and only at Sonic.
It's time to get your remote start installed before you have to scrape your windshield or upgrade your car with better speakers or Apple CarPlay. Go to Santa Fe Auto Sound. Santa Fe Auto Sound, 8030 in Santa Fe or SantaFeAutoSound.com. Kansas City's home for car audio since 1967.
This is great. Is it broccoli? What's on it?
Gates salad seasoning.
Gates makes salad seasoning?
Yes, we use Gates sauces and seasonings on all our vegetables, meats, fish, chicken, and more. It's the best. Gates sauces and seasonings are also gluten-free. Hey, where are you going?
To the grocery store to pick up my bottles of Gates sauce and seasoning. I'm grilling this weekend.
Pick up a bottle of Gates barbecue sauce or salad seasoning at your local grocer. If you don't see it, ask for it.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's to Prilosec OTC. Without Prilosec, I wouldn't be able to enjoy all this yummy holiday food. Speaking of, whoever made that apple pie, delicious. I just take 1 pill each morning and 0 heartburn all day. So cheers to Prilosec OTC. Ooh, are those jalapeno poppers?
Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid that can cause heartburn, so you can enjoy the holidays. 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Hey, Kansas City, this is Andy Reid. Catch me every Monday night with Mitch Holtis on the Chiefs Kingdom Show, starting at 6 o'clock, right here on 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, I'm Nick Schwartz with Chris Unocero. This is Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio. Alex on vacation. Cody has contracted some sort of eye infection. Well, it's commonly referred to as pink eye. But you know what? We rise above it. We move on. And this is incredible, actually. Yesterday, the random question of the day, somebody texted in and said they were at the hospital listening to the show as their wife was getting ready to give birth. I guess they didn't find out the sex. They thought it was going to be a boy. So the random question of the day was, we helped the guy out. We said, what should this guy name his son? And the name that we settled on as a show was Emilio. Well, he just texted in and said, from the 816, hey, so the random question of the day yesterday, we did not know if we were having a boy or a girl. It was a girl. Her name is Amelia. And get this, she just so happened to be born last night at 6:10 p.m. How about that? We have our first 6'10" baby, Chris. I think it's a good
Are
omen.
you sure There's definitely have to be
no,
other
but
6'10"
our
babies.
6'10" baby. It's being credited to the station.
Is it being credited? Yeah, okay.
We helped him. We helped
Watch
him name
somebody
her.
come out the woodworks and said, "I had my baby at 6'10".
We picked Emilio. He named her Amelia. She was born at 6'10". It's man.
I mean, seems weird to wait that long.
That's giving me good vibes.
Yeah, no, that seems like weird to wait that long.
No,
before
a
you
lot of
name
parents
your
do
child.
that.
No.
A lot of parents do that. They wait until they actually meet the child before they have.
I guess
one.
I know people like way ahead of time have a list of names.
And maybe Danon Hughes got some advice for us. Danon Hughes, he will be on the call on Sunday, 3:25. Chiefs, Rams. Danon, what's happening, man? How you doing?
What's going on, fellas? Happy pre-Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. This is we were talking earlier. I think the pre-Thanksgiving festivities is just as good as Thanksgiving itself. The night before seems like it's always like the most relaxing night, right? Where you just kind of can sit back, you can have a drink, hang out with the family before all the festivities on Thanksgiving.
It's like the night before the Super Bowl. It's like nothing is going to be bad the next day. Everything is good. You're going to have the time of your life, and you're just going to sit back and enjoy it. So, trying to gauge the food that I eat today and figure out my plan for tomorrow morning. We usually eat around 2 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow. My wife, Tiffany, does all the cooking, so I got to give her a shout-out.
Wait, she does all of it? Are you chipping in at all tomorrow in the cooking?
No, I work to put the food on the plate. I don't work.
He's like, I'm not doing any work. My money did the work here.
That's exactly. Everybody has a role, man. Just like the Chiefs, everybody has a role. Everybody has a responsibility. We got 25 people coming to the house every year, and I'm a one-hit wonder, so I go for one plate. I'm just a one-plate guy.
That's it? Just one plate?
Yeah, one big plate. If you've followed me on Twitter, you can go back and see my plates from past 4 or 5 years. They are epic plates. They're about, I'd say, 8 inches high, maybe 6 to 8 inches high off the plate.
You stack. Okay, that makes
equal opportunity. Every food can touch each other. It's all going to the same plate.
Oh, I can't do that. I can't. They can't touch. Yeah. They can't. Like the stuff. Yeah. Some stuff can't touch. No.
No, everything touches. Everything touches.
Mac and cheese can't touch nothing else.
Oh, man.
No, I don't eat mac and cheese.
Oh, you don't eat mac and cheese? What?
No.
Okay.
No.
So now we got to get to this because the Thanksgiving plate is a polarizing discussion, Danon. I know you're probably going to share it, but can you give us a preview of what it's probably going to look like tomorrow?
So you'll have some deviled eggs, some green beans, some collard greens, some candy yams, some sweet potatoes. We'll have some regular mashed potatoes. We'll also have turkey, ham, gravy, stuffing, a lot of stuffing, some rice, a couple of rolls, and pretty much about 3/4 of a can of cranberry sauce. That's pretty much it. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything.
On your plate? Wow.
I don't know how you could be forgetting anything, Danon, because you just named everything
that you have, except for the dessert. Do you go for dessert too?
Macaroni salad. I don't eat macaroni and cheese, so macaroni salad, and then there'll be sweet potato pie afterwards.
My goodness,
man,
that's a hell of a spread, Danon.
I don't know how this has to be a monstrous plate if you're fitting that much food.
Check it out. Go back in my timeline. Maybe I'll repost.
All right.
A flashback.
I'll be waiting for your post tomorrow on Twitter. Yep. I'll see your plate.
Everybody. I mean, I get a lot of people that text me on the side. A few people that tweet me, waiting for it. Usually around 2 or 3 o'clock.
So this is a thing. I didn't realize this was a thing. Okay.
Oh yeah.
This is a thing. Okay.
It's special.
Appointment viewing on Danon Hughes' Twitter. I'll
make sure to check it out tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow, yeah. Danon, so last Sunday night I thought was one of the more impressive performances from the Chiefs offense. You can go off the raw numbers if you want, but more so the circumstances, right? You were without Juju. You were without Mecole. Kadarius Toney goes down during the game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes down during the game. So all the Chiefs did was run 3 tight end sets. They run Sky Moore, who hadn't been getting playing time all year. He has his best game. Isaiah Pacheco goes in as the lead back. He has his best game. Patrick Mahomes throws for 329, 3 touchdowns, and you beat a divisional rival on the road. What is the reason? Because that feels like a microcosm of the season, Danon, whereas you can come up with reasons as to why you'd think there'd be growing pains. Moving on to life without Tyreek Hill, just like you thought there might be growing pains in having to play a bunch of rookies last Sunday. Yet this team just finds a way to not just get by, but seemingly not skip a beat. How? I mean, how? I can't wrap my head around how the same issues that plague other teams aren't plaguing this team this year.
Well, one, you have the greatest quarterback in the history of the game to me, the greatest talent at quarterback, I should say. Not the most accomplished yet, but the greatest talent. And to me, also, you have to give props to the coaching. And here's one of the aspects of that I want to definitely point out. When we were playing the Colts and when we played the Titans last year, and I'm trying to think of the other years of the embarrassing games, the Cincinnati Bengals second half of each game last year, a lot of the critique went towards Eric Bieniemy. And I always found that there was an imbalance between the success of this team, specifically on the offense, always got credited to Andy Reid. And I think they complement each other very well. So in a situation where you have 3 of your top 4 receivers down, one of your top 2 running backs down, you have to give credit where it's due to the coaches. And Eric Bieniemy, Greg Lewis, Andy Reid, to me, this is what you would say is a coaching clinic, and that other coaches should take notice and take heed. And if you had any coaches that came in during training camp and watched how this team worked as a unit and the coaches worked as a unit, it should be like a training tape for all coaches that aspire to get into the NFL, because these guys have been working on this for that long, for this opportunity, for this time when something could happen. And I can't name another team pretty much in history, maybe back in the old days when you had 15 rounds and rookies played all the time, et cetera. But how often have you seen this many rookies contribute to the level that they are contributing right now with Pacheco and Sky and Watson and Williams and Chenal and Karlaftis? I mean, you got Cochran on special teams. I mean, you got guys that are Brian Cook at the safety position. I mean, we can go through pretty much the entire draft and a couple of guys that we signed and say, you know what, they're not just filling in the blanks. We're not putting in a couple of, young receivers and then just running the ball like the old school Chiefs used to do. We're not doing anything different. We're just doing it a different way, I guess you can say. And having 3 tight ends. Okay, we got 2 wide receivers down. Let's go 3 tight end unit. We got a running back go down. Well, let's rotate Isaiah Pacheco in with Jerick McKinnon, not miss a beat. I mean, it is so special to watch, and I think we want to make sure that we are really grabbing hold of this time, because this is special football. And regardless of how the season ends, hopefully it ends in Glendale, Arizona, but regardless of how it ends, like, the process is really special. And I got to give credit to the coaches and how they're doing it.
Yeah, you know what you call teams that play 8 or 9 rookies? You call them rebuilds. You call them 4 and 13. Like that's what's so shocking. It's not just the individual performances of those guys. It's the fact that you're relying so heavily on rookies, and you're not just like another good team that's fighting for a playoff spot. This is the best team in the NFL, Dana. This never happens.
Yeah, I mean, it is truly special, and how demoralizing is it towards opponents? I'd like to be like in the quietest moment of Justin Herbert's time, like during the week or going back multiple weeks with Jimmy Garoppolo, and you go with the Titans and sit down with Mike Vrabel and have like truth serum and say, how demoralizing is it that you're getting beat the way you're getting beat by who you're getting beat by, guys that you probably had no clue were on this roster, never mind going out and making plays. Jody Fortson going down the sideline. People don't understand how difficult that route was. Now, it's an absolute great throw. If you ever have a dime of a throw, that was a dime of a throw to Jody Fortson. But he came in motion. So he ran across the backfield in motion for about 30 yards, then went down the field for about 40-something yards against a corner who's supposed to be faster than him, and then pulls down the ball inside the 5-yard line. Like, he ran nearly 80 yards on one play, and it didn't seem like it was outside the norm. It wasn't a magical play. It was just a play that we're used to seeing here in Kansas City that most other teams can't make.
Talking to Danon Hughes of Chiefs Radio Network here on 610 Sports Radio. Chris Jones has been incredible this year. I think he has been as good as any defensive player in football. But Danon, the pass rush in general, how about this? 2020, the Chiefs had 32 sacks. Last year, the Chiefs had 31 sacks as a team. This year, they have 32 sacks with 7 games to go, Danon. And when you look at the personnel, I mean, you brought in Carlos Dunlap. Okay, this is a nice guy who's been consistently productive. George Karlaftis, first-round pick. You figured he would help out some. You bring in Frank Clark on the restructured deal. You made some changes, but it didn't feel like any big sweeping overhaul. How has this pass rush taken such a significant step from where we saw them the last 2 years?
So even adding more to that is that you were without Willie Gay Jr. for 4 games. You were out Frank Clark for 2 games. So 2 guys that are contributing factors to that sack assault on opposing quarterbacks didn't even play some of these games, these 10 games that we've played. So how impressive is it that this defense is playing at a different clip? It's immeasurable. Now, we knew coming into this season, we didn't know how good this defense was going to be, but one thing we did know is that it was going to be faster. And to me, the speed that we increased on defense has helped Steve Spagnuolo to kind of put together different packages that other teams might be exposed. Maybe our team last year would be exposed differently with Daniel Sorensen and Tyrann Mathieu in the back end. But now we can have Justin Reed play up at the line of scrimmage. We can have L'Jarius Sneed blitz and be probably the best blitzing corner or defensive back in the NFL right now. And we can change up looks. And there's a guy like Nick Bolton. You know, I know a lot of people hadn't heard of him, but there's a guy like Nick Bolton that is managing the middle of the field like Mike Singletary. Like, we have a special unit, interchangeable parts, and the creativity is out the window when it comes to dialing up different looks that are confusing. Like, we're confusing quarterbacks. They haven't called timeouts, but Justin Herbert was confused on a couple of those sacks. We have 4 games this year where this defense has 5+ sacks in the game. That was the 4th one just this past weekend. Yeah. So, like, I mean, we can make a lot about Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes on the offense and the interchangeable parts, but the defense, they're doing something unprecedented. Like, they're doing things like we used to do back in the 90s with Derek Thomas and Neil Smith. And it's truly, truly fun to watch. I will say this, Chris Jones did an outstanding job. He's getting pressure consistently on quarterbacks, but the most impressive play I saw of him this year was he chased down Austin Eckler on the sideline and made a tackle, and I believe it stopped from a first down. Now, I don't think it was 3rd down, but he made a tackle to the sideline, which I hadn't seen very much from 95 in doing that. Usually he works a lot in the trenches, but to see that extra effort to go to the sideline and track down a running back that caught the ball out of the backfield told me something about the attitude change and the effect of a guy like Nick Bolton and Willie Gay Jr. and how their speed kind of is contagious with other guys. So it was great to see Chris play sideline to sideline type of football at times and not just be the beast in the middle.
He's Danon Hughes. Hear him on the call with Mitch Holtis, Josh Klingler this Sunday. Chiefs, Rams, 325, 106.5 The Wolf. Danon, thank you for the time, and I think I speak for all of us, everybody listening, that we will be waiting on pins and needles to see that monstrous spread that you're going to be assembling tomorrow afternoon.
Hey, I aim to please, man. I might be in a coma afterwards, but I aim to please the fans. There you go. It'll be coming out.
What you do for the fans, man. That's why we love you. Thanks, Danon.
All right, bro.
All righty, that is Danon Hughes, Chiefs color analyst for the Chiefs Radio Network, joining us here on Cody and Gold. All right, let's get to the trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
All right. Trash of the day comes to us courtesy from everybody's favorite franchise, the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are looking a little desperate. I'm not going to lie, man. On Twitter with their courting of Odell Beckham Jr. You see this tweet yesterday, Chris?
I did not.
Okay.
I have seen all the other attempts by the team to sway Odell their way.
Nobody is trying harder to get his attention than the Cowboys.
All the players, yeah.
So yesterday they tweeted out, "It's your move, OBJ." Side-eye emoji. Dak Prescott shared part of his pitch to Odell Beckham Jr. and why he wants him in Dallas. Like, this is the official team Twitter account. When do you ever see this? The team just saying, like, hey, look at how hard we're trying to get Odell Beckham Jr. in Dallas. And they posted a whole, like, on their official team website. It's an entire article as to how hard they're trying to get. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
I mean, can you blame them?
Okay, I guess I can't.
Yeah.
But you know why? Because the Cowboys are desperate and they need him.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are a good football team. They're one of the best teams in the NFC. Problem is, there's not a single team in the NFC that would beat the Chiefs or the Bills in the Super Bowl. I don't want to hear about the Eagles. I don't want to hear about the Vikings. I don't want to hear about the Cowboys. None of them. The Niners don't matter. None of them can do it because none of them have a quarterback of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen's caliber. So what is your only other option, like the Niners have done? Hey, can't have an elite quarterback? Surround him with elite talent. The Niners have done it. It's exactly what the Eagles did this offseason when they went out and traded for A.J. Brown. That's the Cowboys' only opportunity for success.
I mean, the Eagles went out and got Ndamukong Suh and Lingval Joseph this week, or last week.
Going all in.
They need talent. All these teams in the NFC need talent because they know that they're facing behemoths coming from the
How
AFC.
much does that suck, though, to know that we have to do everything? We have to go after every possible free agent just to, like, keep up. And you're not keeping up. None of these teams are on the same level as the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, you know what the Chiefs did this offseason? They said, we're good. We'll sign a couple $10 million wide receivers.
We're going to get younger.
We're going to play 9 rookies. We're going to start a couple $10 million wide receivers. We're going to play more 3 tight end sets with Jody Fortson, a guy who converted to tight end 2 years ago. And it doesn't matter. We're still better than you. Not like we're on the same level. Not like we're all competing for the Super Bowl. No, you're playing catch up. I'll tell you this right now. I am officially to the point where I have zero interest in the Chiefs pursuing Odell. I don't know where you've been on this, but a couple of weeks ago, I was like, you know what? It's an arms race. Go out and get him. Seeing what the Chiefs did last weekend and seeing what the rest of the NFL is doing, don't get me wrong. If they go out and get him, I'm not going to sit here and say that it was a terrible move. Why'd you do that? Because it's probably a low-risk move. I'm just to the point where I do not care.
I never really cared about getting him, but, like, I was like, you'd be doing yourself a service by making sure he stays away from the Bills. And if he ends up in Dallas, I'm cool with that, as long as he doesn't end up in Buffalo. I don't think he's necessary for a championship. I think we've seen that now because the Chiefs have been able to show they've got some depth in their receiving core, so it's fine.
And honestly, man, if this is a guy that isn't going to play for another month, how useful is he going to be?
I mean, he'd be useful in the playoffs, but, like,
assuming that he comes back and is healthy.
Yeah, assuming he comes back and plays the way that we saw him play in L.A. last year.
If he played the way he played in the postseason last year, yeah, he's a massive weapon. But he was in L.A. for half a season, and he wasn't coming off an injury. So now he is coming off an injury, learning a new playbook, and I get it. These guys are talented. It doesn't take them a year to learn the playbook, but you'd like to have at least a month, 2 months.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame. I mean, look, the Cowboys need some more talent. We see their offense. Like, their offense isn't consistent. They need as much talent as they can get. Plus, on top of that, you got to find some way to close the gap between you and the Chiefs and Bills. So do what you got to do. I'm not going to go out here and get on a team for trying to get better when I mean, Dallas Cowboy fans in their heart of hearts know if these two teams played each other in the Super Bowl, the Chiefs would be pretty comfortably favored in that game.
From the 816, Nick, I'm going to need you to pause between Mahomes and Allen when you say their names to emphasize that there is still a gap between the two. That's fair. I earlier in the season, I was like, hey, why are so many people getting upset, like saying these two guys are in the same tier? You're right. I think Mahomes is in his own tier by himself, and then Allen is in his own tier by himself right below Mahomes. But you're seeing, again, Bills didn't lose their star receiver this offseason.
I mean, Bills paid their star receiver.
They paid him. They did the opposite of what the Chiefs did.
And then they paid a big contract to a mid-30s pass rusher to get him there.
Hey, and Von Miller's been good.
He's been good. He's been really good. But they, were desperate. They're like, we need to upgrade from our other old edge rusher and Jerry Hughes. Let's get another guy who's old, and let's get him $120 million over 6 seasons.
All right, Grady Dick just splashed one in on a pull-up three. Battle for Atlantis, Kansas, North Carolina State. I'm going to lock in on that for the next 5 minutes during this break. On the other side, Chiefs Red Half Hour. Andy Reid might be in the midst of his best coaching job to date. I'll tell you why on the other side. This is Cody and Gold, 610 Sports Radio.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss Alex's That Betting Show every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Right here on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app.
Diamonds. Everyone loves them, and at Shane Company, we've been experts in the diamond business since 1929. This means we know diamonds better than anyone else. At Shane Company, you can now choose between either a natural or lab-grown diamond. For your engagement ring, diamond studs, or diamond pendant. When it comes to our new lab-grown diamonds, we take the same approach we do for all of our diamonds and apply our same superior standards. We work with the best diamond vendors, people who've perfected the art and science of creating gorgeous diamonds in a lab, with the quality we're known for. Then, we hand-select only the best stones cut by the best diamond cutters. Plus, all our diamonds are eligible for our free lifetime warranty and upgrades. We'll show you our huge selection in every price range and help you select the perfect diamond. No matter what you choose, whether it's a natural diamond or a lab-grown diamond, you can be confident that with Shane Company, you're getting the most beautiful diamond.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
The world's biggest soccer tournament is back, and FanDuel wants you to get in on the action when America takes the pitch. Because when you bet on Team USA in group play, all customers get free bets back if they don't win. All tournament long, FanDuel has your favorite bet types, including some that are exclusive to soccer. Plus, just like any other sport, you can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday with a same-game parlay. However you want to play, be sure to back the red, white, and blue because all customers get free bets back if Team USA doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code 610BOB if you don't already have an account. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of 610 Sports Radio and America's #1 sportsbook. 21 and present in Kansas. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 7 days after receipt. Max free bet ranging from $5 to $100. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold. Each day from noon till 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio.
We asked Google Fiber customers what they think about their internet.
I don't really pay attention to it.
We don't think about our internet too often.
Google Fiber has simplified my life tremendously to the point that I just never think about my internet.
I can just let the internet do its thing and leave my mind, which is really nice. It's a really good sense of peace of mind.
If you don't have to think about your internet, that means it's working pretty well.
Sign up for Google Fiber today at fiber.google.com. Actual Google Fiber customer compensated for testimonial. Customer experience may vary.
One long wintry night, we put hot cinnamon apples on top of the thickest and fluffiest French toast available at IHOP. Try our new thick and fluffy ginger snap apple French toast today. Part of our holiday menu. Let's put a smile on your plate for a limited time at participating locations.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric is proud to install Generac generators. When you purchase a new Generac home standby generator, receive a 10-year warranty for free, plus financing to fit your needs. From Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Hey, it's Derek Johnson, and I know there's nothing better than being a part of a team, a group of great people you can count on and learn from. The Sheet Metal Workers Local Number 2 are growing their team and looking for quality men and women who want to build Kansas City's future. While you're making KC a better place, you'll also get great pay and benefits while gaining lifelong skills. Explore the possibilities at sheetmetal2.org. That's sheetmetal2.org. And take a step towards a fulfilling and rewarding way of life.
I'm Steve Hedgepeth with Quad Power Products. People know us for excellent customer service for their hydraulic hoses, couplers, adapters, and accessories. We also offer hydraulic cylinder service, where besides resealing, we actually recondition your cylinder by honing and polishing all sealing surfaces. We also bench test each repair before handing it back to you. All of that with a full 1-year warranty. Come to Quad Power Products in South Kansas City on Hickman Mills Drive. Find us on the web at quadfluidpower.com.
Your love isn't confined to an advent calendar. It doesn't stop when the Christmas lights come down. With the Salvation Army, your love lasts all year long. It puts a present under someone's tree today and a roof over someone's head tomorrow. It brightens Christmas morning and the hardest nights for hardworking families. Together, we love beyond Christmas. Give $25 a month to support Kansas City families all year long at lovebeyondkc.org.
Hi there, I'm your host, Dog, filling in for the human who's normally here and bringing you the smells and sounds of the holidays, courtesy of Beggin' Dog Treats.
We wish you a begging Christmas. We wish you a begging Christmas. Dog rest ye merry Doberman, let begging you acquire. Deck the halls with strips of begging. Arf, 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 arf.
Remember, for bacon-loving dog excitement this holiday, it's Beggin'!
At the Home Depot, we have plenty of Christmas trees to make your holidays even more magical. Hundreds of full, easy-to-assemble artificial trees that look so real, you may be convinced they actually are. And for those who love that fresh pine smell, we have a parking lot full of fresh-cut trees to call your own. We'll even help you load your tree in the car so you can bring home the holidays. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try Babbel for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Sunny with high clouds today, high 57.
Weather brought to you by One Thing. Cut up six-pack rings and reduce your use of plastic to help keep it out of our waterways and oceans. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow.
This report brought to you by Max Motors. Vehicles in stock and ready for delivery. MaxMotors.com.
We have you covered at Max Motors. Getting your vehicle service from the comfort of your home or work is easy. We do all the work for you. Free pickup, vehicle service, and delivery within 50 miles. Reserve now at MaxMotorsTransit.com.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Brown and Crouppen Studios. Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on Cody and Gold.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by Greenway Ford. It's a new day, a new way at the all-new Greenway Ford. I'm Nick Schwert with Chris Uno-Sera. This is Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio. We'll go out to Arrowhead here coming up in about 25 minutes or so. Hear from Andy Reid, get some injury updates from him. Hopefully learn about the status of Juan Thornhill, Juju Smith-Schuster, Kadarius Toney, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
You're just going to name half the team now?
Well, I do. I mean, how many guys are injured? The big one for me is Juju, even though he, weirdly enough, is the guy I feel like I'm most confident in is going to return. Concussions, and I know they're not all the same, but typically speaking, it's a one-game thing, and then they're back.
One game tops. A lot of guys get out of protocol after a week.
I guess one would be a big one, too. You really can't afford to miss him for too terribly long. But I mean, you're talking about a high ankle sprain for Clyde. That ain't a quick turnaround.
No.
I don't want to run the risk of sounding crass here, but I don't think the team needs him. Did you see how Isaiah Pacheco looked an extended run? just kind of been a microcosm of this team. Hasn't mattered who. I didn't believe Patrick Mahomes in the offseason when he said, "Oh, it's going to be terrible for fantasy football owners. One week it'll be this guy, one week it'll be the next guy." I was like, "All right, okay, whatever. It's going to be Travis Kelce and Juju, and then everybody else can pick up the scraps." But it really, truly has been, especially with those injuries starting to pile up. Patrick Mahomes deserves credit for that. But Andy Reid deserves a lot of it as well. I think, Chris, this might be his best coaching job in Kansas City. And I get it. It's 10 to 11 weeks into the season. You don't judge coaching jobs based off what you do the first 2 months of the year. But what he's been able to do without Tyreek Hill and how he has evolved this offense for Patrick Mahomes and for the weapons is nothing short of spectacular. He won't win Coach of the Year, because we know how that works. Coach of the Year works like this. Hey, we thought your team was going to suck and you're good, so it must be coaching, right? We're not going to consider the idea that maybe we were just dead wrong about your team. No, we were just wrong about the coach. That's why it'll be Kevin McConnell or Mike McDaniel who will end up winning it. It's Nick Sirianni, even though they have like the most complete roster in the NFL, right? God forbid we just look at the roster construction and say, no, you should have thought they were good. No, it must be coaching. I don't really care about the individual Coach of the Year awards. I know that Andy Reid doesn't either, but this is as impressive of a job as he's done because for the first time, and I get it's easy, this is going to elicit eye rolls when I say this because of the fact that you have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but the fact that you lost Tyreek Hill and replaced him with Juju, MVS, Kadarius Toney, and Sky Moore, your offense is better. Your offense is better than it was a year ago, and statistically, it's not going to touch 2018. I think you could make an argument that this is the best offense that we've seen of the Patrick Mahomes era. Again, statistically, it's not going to look the same. But you look at like the way that they're doing it, instead of taking the bombs downfield, they're getting tons of yards after catch. That's scheming. It's not just talent. The Chiefs don't have the best collection of runners after the catch in the NFL. It's scheme. It's quarterback play. And it's the evolution. They feel like that word's kind of become a buzzword with the Chiefs this year. The evolution of the offense. That is Andy Reid. This is a guy who's been doing this for longer than anybody else, yet he seems less stuck in his ways than any other play caller in the NFL. I don't know how he is immune to the same sort of stagnations that we see from other offenses around the league. What is it about this guy? I'm not smart enough to figure it out. I just know that it wasn't supposed to look this easy. There were supposed to be growing pains, and we're not seeing any of it.
I do agree with you on the point about this being the best offense that they've had. Not statistically, obviously not the case. But for me, I think the thing that works more in favor of that argument is the fact that the Chiefs, teams are taking them seriously and are respecting them so much that they're playing it safe, ultra conservative with their defensive play calling against this team. They did not do that in 2018. In 2018, teams were hyper-aggressive. They ran a lot of man coverage. They sent a lot of blitzes Patrick's way, and it's one of the reasons why they were able to get so many of those deep shots down the field, because you'd have a guy like Tyreek Hill who was able to break open because teams did not respect that Patrick was going to be able to get the ball to him down the field under duress.
Yeah.
There's so much that teams have grown to respect Mahomes for. Now everyone's keeping it safe. Okay, let's make sure that we get 2 high safeties most of the time. Let's not send as many blitzes. Like the Chiefs still face a lot of man coverage, but it's man coverage with safety help over the top. Teams aren't taking chances with these guys anymore,
and that's
the way they were 4 years ago.
When you're talking about forces, like teams that everybody starts to come up with game plans for, answers for, this is how it works. Punch, counterpunch, punch, counterpunch. The Chiefs come in, high-flying offense. Okay, what are we going to do? Last year, we saw it really start to work. We're going to play 2 high safeties. You can't do anything deep. You got to take everything underneath. What did the Chiefs do? They started using Tyreek Hill as this incredible yards after the catch, and what did he do? Have one of the best statistical seasons of his career. One of the best wide receivers in the NFL again last year, even though he was being deployed in a brand new way. Well, now you lose him, and say what you will about the season that Juju's having, he ain't Tyreek Hill. And MVS, while he plays a lot. The production has not been there. I think it's 5 catches for 90 yards in his last 3 games combined. Yet this is the guy playing the second most snaps on your offense. Guess what? Doesn't matter. One day it'll be McCole. One day it'll be Kadarius Toney. One day it'll be Sky Moore. One day it'll be Justin Watson. They're using everyone. That, to me, is a sign of coaching. Yes, you need a quarterback who can get it there. And there are only a handful, if even that would be capable of having the statistical season that the Chiefs are having with the weapons that they've had. But it's also coaching to be able to say, okay, no Juju, no McCole. How are we going to do this? Justin Watson, you're going to play more snaps than any other wide receiver. We know you're our 5th-string wide receiver. Guess what? Today you're our number 1. And all we're going to do is go out and hang 30 on a divisional rival and a team that's going to the playoffs. I think you'd have to probably go back to the Alex Smith years to find a season that would even compare to the coaching job that Andy Reid has done. And that's a sign of great coaching, man. Getting the most out of the weapons that you have at your disposal. And this is not, I don't care what you think about the Chiefs' weapons. Maybe they're underrated compared to what we thought they were. This is not like the best collection of pass catchers in the NFL. Not even close.
No.
You got Justin Watson off the scrap heap.
Yeah.
You got Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th round.
Right.
You got Kadarius Toney for a 4th-round pick. Look at what you're doing with these guys.
They have done such a great job of just finding value. And, I thought Juju would take a little time and then eventually, middle of the season, start to come on, start having some impactful games, score touchdowns, etc. But I thought there would be some growing pains with them because the Chiefs have a difficult system for receivers to learn. It's tough. It's very much chemistry-based. Mahomes, you still see him after plays yelling at guys, hey, no, you're supposed to go this way on the route. He's doing it all the time. And we saw it with MVS early on where he's like, dude, just keep running because you know how these guys are. They want to stop their routes because they're not used to having a quarterback that can just toss the ball
like, no,
way
I can
down
hit
the
you.
field.
He's like, no, you can keep going. Yeah, I can get it there.
Keep running, dude. You're good. You're not. There's no out of range for me with my arm. That's basically what you're seeing. There's chemistry issues early on, but even then they were still scoring a bunch of points. First game of the season, over 40 on the Cardinals. This is the kind of team that we're starting to see here is a team that's just found a way to kind of plug and play at that wide receiver spot because you've got the quarterback that knows what he's looking at as far as defenses go and how to take advantage of it.
But it's not just plugging and playing to where, let's just go back to the prime Rodgers years where they were always one of the best offenses in the league, but they weren't number one year after year after year.
Right,
it was never like that. Personnel would change, and it would say, okay, they maybe have taken a slight step back. They're not quite as effective or explosive as they were the year before, but they were the 3rd best offense last year. They're the 6th best offense this year. That's not what's happening with the Chiefs. It's just first, second, third, first, second. That's what they've been doing under Mahomes. And now what we thought was going to be a transitional year because I kind of came into this season saying, well, we'll see what Juju does to see if they'll want to keep him long term, but they're still going to have to address wide receiver needs next offseason as well. I guess that's still true, but the answer to the first question is the Chiefs would re-sign Juju today if they could.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, there are no other good receivers that are going to be available next year, so Juju's looking around thinking, you know what, it might not be too bad is starting a bidding war for me this offseason. I thought maybe I was going to get 16, 17 mil. Yeah, the price tag just went up, right? Price on the package went up.
I don't know if there's going to be a huge bidding war for him, though.
Why not? Every team now, look at what happened last season because it wasn't just every team going after receivers. It was the fact that every team knows they need to have 2 guys now. You can't just rely on having a number 1 wide receiver and putting pieces around him. You have to have multiple legit weapons. You don't think there are going to be other teams that will be willing to overpay Juju?
I don't know if, overpay in what? We obviously don't know what the number is, but I don't know if we're going to have a bunch of other teams willing to just go out there and just toss as much money as we normally see for receivers because I think there's a lot of people who are going to look at this situation and say, that's probably more Mahomes than Juju. And so I think that I do think there will be other teams that put in bids on him. I don't think it's going to be enough to sway him to where he's going to be like, then this other team gave me so much better of a deal, I had to take it. I don't think it's going to be. And I think he's expressed interest. Like, he says he wants to be back. And I think the Chiefs want him back. And I think they'll probably try to work a deal that allows the Chiefs to not overspend to keep him, and he can stay here and have success in his career and make good money. I feel like a lot of people who get here are like, certainly some guys like Charvarius Ward, the Chiefs were not going to re-sign him. They weren't going to do it because the amount of money that he was getting for what he was giving the team, it just wasn't worth it. But for guys who are good contributors on the team and at a valued position like receiver, I kind of feel like the Chiefs are going to find a way to convince him to stay, even if it's maybe a little bit less money than what they could get from another team. I feel like he would be the kind of guy who does take a little less to stay. Maybe I'm crazy for that. I kind of feel like
we see it with Travis Kelce. You think Travis Kelce couldn't have got a bigger deal elsewhere?
Yeah, and he's way underpaid compared to his production. Yeah.
By the way, glad you brought that up. It's borderline criminal how little he gets paid compared to the production that he gives you. I said earlier in the show, Travis Kelce is the best pass catcher in the NFL. I would take him over Devontae Adams. I would take him over Stephon Diggs. Clearly, I would take him over Tyreek Hill. The Chiefs made that. I mean, it wasn't like a 1-for-1, but can you imagine if this offense had Tyreek Hill and not Travis Kelce? There is no way they're as good as they've been as Grady Dick just hit like a 40-footer for 3. He's got 18 points in the first half. That kid's a superstar. Sorry. I got Grady Dick on the mind. Yeah. You understand. Chiefs.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not a KU fan.
Well, you'll learn. You'll learn over the next 20 minutes or so.
I'm not a KU fan, so.
Travis Kelce's making $23 million guaranteed on this contract, which is the same amount as Curtis Samuel is making on his contract with Washington, and that puts him right around 35th in the league. If you were to compare Travis Kelce to wide receivers, he would be the 35th highest paid receiver based off guaranteed money. The same amount as Curtis Samuel, and one spot ahead of Devontae Parker, the New England Patriots. He's making about $14 million annually, which would put him in the Corey Davis, Robbie Anderson, Adam Thielen range. This is absurdity, Chris. This is the best contract in the NFL. And I know that a lot of people have been there. I mean, we in Kansas City have been there longer than most people, but it is nice that finally the national media is coming around on the idea that, you know what, this Travis Kelce guy might be the best tight end of all time.
I think Mahomes has the best contract because no quarterback should ever sign a 10-year contract ever.
Okay, so then the Chiefs have the two.
So they have the two best contracts in the NFL by far. Kelce's definitely number 2. He's easily best for a position player.
And think about it. If Kelce were getting paid what he's worth, he would be getting paid $25 million a year. And if he were getting that contract, you wouldn't be able to do some of the other things that you've done handing out contracts in the league. The Chiefs, I don't know what they're going to do for Travis Kelce after he retires, but they need to buy him an island or something in the Bahamas.
He's got island money. No, they need to, like, if anything, you could put a statue of him out there because, I mean, obviously Mahomes going to get one. Kels gets one too. Give Kels one. Just put him up there next to Hunt, and whenever they build the new Arrowhead Stadium, we could have Lamar Hunt, we could have Patrick eventually at some point, and then Travis Kelce at some point. I think that would be the appropriate.
It doesn't make any sense because I know, like, statistically, he's not having the same season that Tyreek's having. He's got way more touchdowns than he has, but in terms of, like, the yardage and the receptions, he doesn't have the same.
I think he's on pace for, like, his second best season.
Dude, he's already tied his career high in touchdowns.
Yeah.
There's 7 games left.
Yeah, the production that he is giving is something that you don't expect for someone like a tight end in general, and then especially a tight end at his age.
Well, what's most impressive is, like, beyond the stats, it's where he's picking them. Like, it feels like he's always doing it in, like, the most critical junctures of the game. 3rd and long, I mean, or the last drive of the game. Like, he always comes up so big when you need him. There has not been a quiet game for him. He has not had a quiet game all season long, which I get it. He's the best tight end. But even last year, he would have quiet games, or Tyreek would have quiet games because we'd say, oh, the other team's just game planning to stop him. It feels like defensively it would be even easier to come up with a strategy to slow him down because you don't have to account for another guy that you need to constantly double team. But for whatever reason, nobody has had an answer to even remotely slow him down. I'm sure the Raiders thought they had a pretty good one. He had 25 yards receiving, but he had 4 touchdowns. So that might be the best game of the year, even though it was his lowest receiving total. He had 5 catches for 51 yards against the Chargers in week 2. I guess that's his worst game of the season.
I feel like that would be the one, but still he had a major impact on the game. It's just, it's so hard to cover him. And like teams are, like they're holding him every time he comes off the line. He is being hugged by linebackers and safeties every time he comes off the line. And there's always some sort of bracket coverage. Like Mike linebacker is always sitting up top waiting for Kelce to stop his route to try to hit him. And teams can't stop him. They just cannot stop him. And the thing is, you can't entirely focus everything on Kelce because the Chiefs do have other playmakers. And the last thing you want is for McCole Hardman to make one of his few catches he makes, and then he just runs straight through the defense and scores a touchdown.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to allow Juju to do that because teams were doing that earlier in the season, and Juju started keying on that and scoring. So it's one of those situations where, like, if you stop this other thing's going to happen to you. It's very much kind of a pick your poison deal.
Yeah.
And I think right now teams are just like, hey, we're gonna hold Kelce as much as we can, but we can only do so much.
It's the best of everything. It's the best contract in the NFL. He's the best pass catcher in the NFL. He's the best tight end of all time. I mean, and he's 33. He's 33 and somehow playing the best football of his career.
Probably has 2-3 years left playing at this level.
At this point, I'm not putting a cap on it.
Yeah. I know.
I'm not going to say like, oh, this is when he'll fall off. I'll just wait until it happens.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the guy to preemptively cancel him at any point because
right.
we love doing that in sports media. We're like, he's
Tom
done.
Brady's done back in 2014, and then
he wins how many more Super Bowls?
Wins 3 more titles after that.
Oh my God,
4 more actually.
I love it, man. This is so much fun to watch. We're going to hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. They're speaking to the media live at Arrowhead coming up around noon. You'll hear it all right here. Cody and Gold, 610 Sports Radio.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss Royals first baseman / NFL insider, Vinny Pasquantino, this football season with Cody and Gold.
My Twitter is about to unload of football tweets. First Jets game that I have free on Sunday. It's go time.
610 Sports Radio.
Football, tailgating, and parties, and Smokehouse Barbecue. I can't think of anything better. No matter what you're celebrating, Smokehouse Barbecue will celebrate with you. Private banquet rooms in all 3 area locations, Independence, Gladstone, and Zona Rosa. Or if you're hosting your own party in the KC Metro, invite Smokehouse to cater and deliver. Order the whole meal with their famous ribs and wings. Or if you're flexing your skills on the grill but need Smokehouse Barbecue's hickory pit beans or cheesy corn to go with your masterpiece, give them a call or visit smokehousebbq.com.
Slow internet is nonsense. For fast internet, switch to Spectrum Business. Thousands of consumer-initiated tests confirm Spectrum delivers the fastest speed in the nation. That's right, Spectrum delivers the fastest internet speeds in the nation. Switch to Spectrum Business and get 600 megabit per second internet for your business. Only $49.99 a month when bundled. No hidden fees, no contracts, no nonsense. Just the fastest internet speeds in the nation. Visit business.spectrum.com/ultra. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
If you are a business owner, listen up. And remember the website, getrefunds.com. If your business has 5 or more employees and managed to survive COVID, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. It's a little-known program, but it's out there. It's a payroll tax refund, not a loan, no payback. It's a refund of your taxes. Now, the challenge is getting your hands on it. How do you cut through the red tape, get your business the refund money they have coming back? Well, go to getrefunds.com. The team of tax attorneys they put together, highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program, and have already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. To find out if your business qualifies, just go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. They do all the work. No charge up front. Simply share a percentage of the cash they get for you. Don't miss out. Go to getrefunds.com. That's getrefunds.com.
A Humana Medicare Advantage plan could put a smile on your face. That's because some plans offer a $2,000 yearly allowance to use toward dental services, so you can get the care you need and want. Use your allowance toward annual exams and cleanings, as well as fillings, dentures, and more. Some allowances could even help pay for implants. Plus, our wide network can make finding care even easier. Many of our Medicare Advantage plans give you a $2,000 yearly allowance to use toward in- and out-of-network dental services. Your plan may just put a smile on your face, then help that smile stay healthy. Explore Medicare Advantage plans at humana.com/discover or by calling a licensed Humana sales agent at 800-213-6403. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Hi, KC Tailgate Nation. It's Mitchell Schwartz, and this season I want you to try a twist at your tailgate by adding turkey to the menu. Turkey brings big flavor to the grill with tons of tasty options that your crew will gobble up. Smoked turkey wings, buffalo turkey dip, pulled turkey tacos, and even turkey burnt ends. The possibilities are endless. Check out great recipes and register for the ultimate turkey tailgate prize pack at tailgatewithturkey.com. That's tailgatewithturkey.com.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Brown and Crouppen Studios.
106.5 The Wolf wants to give you the ultimate game day experience. Coors Light, McFadden's, and The Wolf are throwing huge parties for every game, home and away at KC Live in the Power and Light District. Complete with pregame food and drink specials, tailgate games, live entertainment, and more. When the game is over, celebrate the win with your fellow fans at McFadden's and KC Live. Come for the game, stay for the party at the ultimate game day experience. Brought to you by Coors Light. Get details from your official radio home for Chiefs football at 1065thewolf.com.
Where can you save big on Black Friday and go big on holiday prep? Lowe's, actually. Black Friday is happening now. Save on appliances and don't miss the deals only at Lowe's.
Foley Rental is your locally owned equipment rental store for commercial, industrial, farm, and residential projects. All equipment is inspected and maintained by over 475 certified technicians, so you stay safe and on schedule. Foley Rental, committed to you from the ground up. Call 855-RENT-FOLEY or visit FoleyRental.com.
Are you looking for a truly special holiday gift? Then come to Shane Company for stylish, fine jewelry. Right now, we're featuring a curated selection of jewelry at a great value for Black Friday. These gifts range from $250 to $500. We have a dainty necklace with a stunning black sapphire and diamond accents for $390. What makes this piece so special is the black sapphire. It's a natural sapphire and the color is intense. Make it a complete set and get the matching earrings. We offer a new twist on the paperclip trend with a matching necklace, bracelet, and earrings in gold vermeil. The sky blue topaz accents really make these pieces unique. Our stacking rings are a lot of fun, from the yellow gold contour ring to the rose gold ring with a hammered finish. Visit Shane Company to see all of our holiday gifts, from under $250 to over $500. Or shop online and enjoy fast and free shipping. Your gift will be a treasure.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-728-8500. 800-728-8500. That's 800-728-8500.
Chiefs Kingdom, this is Mitch Holtis. Catch me every Monday at 4 with C-Dot on the Drive. Hamburgers? Maybe. Chiefs football? Definitely. On your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, this is Cody and Gold, 610 Sports Radio. I am Nick Schwert, Chris Unocero producing with me. Let's just go ahead and send it right out to Arrowhead. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes speaking to the media first. Here's Big Red.
Kadarius won't practice with a hamstring. Everybody else is scheduled to practice. We made some moves here. So Clyde goes on to IR, and then he's got a pretty good high ankle sprain there, so he'll be on IR. And then you saw where we brought Blanton back to the practice squad. We put Jordan Franks on the practice squad injured list. He's got a broken hand that happened in practice. And then Yang was activated to the 53. All right, so a couple of moves there took place. We look forward to playing the challenge of playing the Rams, and we know they're a good football team, talented. They've had a couple of injuries here and there, but they're well coached, and they're a good football team. So we've got to have a good week of practice starting today, and make sure that we cover all the base on a little bit different week because of Thanksgiving. We shortened down tomorrow a bit, so the fellows can enjoy their family and friends for Thanksgiving. And then happy Thanksgiving. So I don't forget, happy Thanksgiving to you and the fans. So, all right, with that, time's yours.
Coach, Mr. Schuster, has he officially been cleared from the concussion protocol? And happy Thanksgiving to you?
Yeah, thank you. I think he has to, for it to be official, has to go through a practice. So he'll go through that. He is feeling better.
Andy, there's a lot of season left. And I don't know how much you play this game and going into a season, but are you at all, would Andy Reid in August have been surprised by what you've seen your team do to this stage of the season?
Yeah, well, there were some unknowns because we hadn't been through games with some of the guys. But as it went on, I could see if we continue to improve like we were, that we would be okay. Seems like every game's a battle, but that's this league right now. There are more games determined by one score or less, than any year in the history of the game. So I mean, that's the way it is. But I'm pleased. But like you said, Vahe, the most important thing there is we got a lot of season left.
And one of those things, when you have so many close games, I mean, sometimes you can feel like that's a sign of vulnerability, but obviously the more you do it, the more you seem to flex that muscle. I mean, does that start to become a thing where it's ingrained in you with this particular team?
Well, listen, I mean, they expect to do well. I mean, that's but there's another group over there that thinks the same way. And so on the other side of the ball that they think they're going to do well. So you've got to go through the whole process of what we're doing right now to get ready for the Rams. You got to go through the whole process today, tomorrow, and up to the game, and then you have to have the energy to go play. And it's an emotional sport, so the emotional part of it, and narrow some of those human errors that take place.
And I just wanted to check on Thornhill. He's working today?
Yeah, so Thornhill is going to work. We're going to see, but he thought he would be able to get some stuff done there.
Conversely, with the Rams, coming off the Super Bowl and now they're 3-7, you guys have always been able to avoid the couple Super Bowls you had, not having the hangover and having a good season. Just what do you see out of the Rams? That's just it's because it's not the game that many people expect at the beginning of the year that this would be.
Yeah, well, they've had change to the team, and then injuries. That's those things happen. So, and that's not something they planned on happening, right? So, but that's kind of what I see. With where they're at. But at the same time, 99, 54, 5. I mean, these guys haven't changed, and their quarterback is banged up. But whether he plays or doesn't play, they've got good backups there. They've got good receivers and O-line. So, you got to get yourself ready.
And Lucas's injury was pretty significant, and it occurred earlier this calendar year. What does it say about his sort of rehab and
Yeah.
What did you figure out? What did you feel like you guys figured out that helped him maybe get back sooner rather than later?
Listen, he worked his tail off, and then he lost some weight, which coming off a leg injury, that's important. So he but I just tell you, his work ethic is, something that got him to this point. And I'm working with our trainers. That helps too. They do a good job with the rehab part.
We haven't talked to Lucas yet, but do you have like a idea of how much weight he lost over this time period?
A couple Twinkies worth. I don't know exactly. Yeah, I do, but I'm not going to put it out there.
Yeah, but enough to know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Coach, I know these questions kind of drive you crazy, but I think by my count, it's 24 in a row that you guys have won in November and December. What can you put your finger on? Is there something about the process that you're doing right now, or anything about this team in particular that just makes them so good this time of year?
Yeah. Listen, I think we have good players, good locker room, coaches that are willing to work, and that combination normally does well. But it's everybody. It's not one thing we're doing. It's everybody involved. You see what Brett and his crew have done by bringing people in. They're constantly replenishing and bringing guys in that can play and help us. So that's part of it. The way Clark sets up the organization for us to be able to do those things. That's important. So everybody's got a piece. I can go through. Except Ted, he doesn't do anything.
They know that.
Coach, it seems like Chris Jones has, he's been consistently dominant for years, but he's even taken a further step this year. What have you seen from him that maybe has led to that?
And again, he's another guy that's, the last couple of years, has just really put in the extra time in the off season. He goes down, when he's not here, he goes down to Florida and busts his tail. He's in really good shape. He comes to camp in good shape. That's not necessarily how it was when he was younger. He was quite a bit bigger than heavier than what he is now. But he's always in the weight room now. He's always running and doing his stuff there. So conditioning wise.
Coach, with Edward Delaire now on injured reserve, opportunity knocks for Ronald Jones.
Sure.
What do you need to see out of him these next 3 practices before determining if he's up on Sunday?
Yeah, just really, it's just an opportunity to get in and work, literally. So and there's a chance he has a chance to play. So legitimate chance, Harvey. So, but within that, he's got to make sure he has all the protections down and the timing of the runs. Those are things we'll look at. But he's been working at it, and I don't think he should have a problem with that.
You guys have mentioned the patience for Isaiah Pacheco. Have you seen progress, especially these last 2 games, in him kind of?
I thought more of this last game. Yeah. I thought he really handled himself well. And, it did show that, for sure.
Andy, probably not a lot of teams playing 4 rookies in the secondary. Do you credit what you've seen from the production to the system and the guys you brought in? What do you sort of look at there?
Yeah, well, good players. So, again, part of that's Brett, bringing in these guys, doing his homework, his whole crew. And then, Dave does a nice job with them, Merritt. Donald does a nice job with the safeties there. Spags is, that's kind of his baby, the secondary is. So he sees it and works with those guys. He'll take an individual guy while David's doing, and Donald are doing the bunch. He'll grab one guy and go work with them. So they're getting the attention they need as long as they retain what they're being taught. But they seem to be hardworking, and most of all, I think that it's a smart group. They kind of get it, and that's helped them.
Not to slide any other position, but do you feel like that's one of the hardest positions to make that transition to the NFL as a rookie and play right away?
Now there's a lot of space that they've got to cover in techniques, and then you hope they learn. Like we've seen it with 23 Williams the whole season. Something happens, and then he fixes that issue, So he's diligent about it and works on it at practice. He had another great experience the other day where 13 seasoned veteran gets him, and then he'll learn from that. And 35's going through the same thing. He's Watson's the same thing. He beat on a slant. He'll learn how to take care of that, or a shallow cross route. All these things, these guys, they're able to. Okay, you got me once, but you're not going to get me the next time. I'm going to learn from this, which is a tribute to the kids and their attention to the detail there.
Last one, Matt.
Coach, the league's doing quite a bit to recognize and celebrate John Madden tomorrow and this weekend. When you think about Madden and Thanksgiving, what do you think about him? What did he mean to you?
Yeah. You think about Turduncan. I still have my Turduncan in the freezer in tribute to him. I'm debating on stuffing it. So, he was my guy. I mean, I appreciate everything he did for me, and just a good human being, and for the game. I mean, think of what he did for football, for our jobs in here, right? The things you guys do for TV. I mean, it's phenomenal. All the change he did, and then as a coach, Hall of Fame coach. So, great job.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, that is Chiefs head coach Andy Reid speaking to the media. So, as far as the injury updates go, Clyde Edwards-Helaire got the high ankle sprain. He is moving to injured reserve. Lucas Niang being activated to the 53-man roster. Joe Thuney dealing with an ankle injury. Kadarius Toney with a hamstring injury. Those guys won't practice, but Juju Smith-Schuster does return to practice. Let's go out now and hear from quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
I'll start you off with the Thanksgiving question. What are you most thankful for?
Yeah, I'm just most thankful for the people around me, for my family, to my teammates, and everyone that's helped me get to where I'm at today. Those people I'll be thankful for every day, not just on Thanksgiving, but every single day that I'm alive.
Are you thankful that you're going to have Juju back potentially on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, to get a dynamic playmaker back, hopefully everything goes good with the protocol and everything like that, and he's healthy and ready to go. And but just to have that energy on the sideline again, he's obviously a great player, but a great teammate. So you always want to get those guys back in the huddle.
How much did you sense it meant to Sky to be able to make the plays that he did on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, it was big. I mean, just confidence booster. He's someone who puts in the work every day, and we have a lot of guys in that receiving room, so the ball gets spread out a ton, and he hasn't got the numbers that I think we thought he was going to have going into this season. And so for him to make big catches in big moments in a big game, it shows that all that hard work that he puts in every single day is paying off, and he's someone that will be a contributor to this team for a long time.
Patrick, Eric Bieniemy mentioned Aaron Donald was like Steph Curry. Do you see that out of him? And I know the Rams are having a disappointing year, but overall, just what do you see from that Rams defense? Because they still have some talent out there despite.
Yeah, I mean, they have a ton of talent. I mean, they're still a great defense. I mean, I watch them in all the games they've played this year, and they've done a great job. And so they have playmakers everywhere. I mean, obviously 99. He strip sacked me last time twice when we played him, so we got to make sure we account for him every single time that he's on the field, which is like every play. So you have to have a good game plan for him. They got 5, and Ramsey, who's a great player. They got 54. I mean, you could just go down the list. They have great players all throughout that defense. And so it'll be a great challenge for us as an offense, and we have to go out there and execute at a high level and try to limit our mistakes because they capitalize on those.
Patrick, even in your short time in the league, you've seen most teams have a lot of fluctuation in how they do season by season. You guys have been able to keep a pretty good arc. I just wonder what you think about when you think about your ability to do that through the years so far.
Yeah, I mean, in this league, everybody can beat everybody. I know everybody says that, but I mean, I truly believe it. I mean, every week, if you don't bring your best game, you can lose the football game. And so for us, we try to just maintain getting better every day. I mean, I preach it all the time. EB preaches it. Coach Reid preaches it. Is just how can you make yourself better today to impact yourself for the game? And so that's what we've done. And if you focus on that, you can just continue to get better and better as seasons go on, and then try to find ways to win football games, kind of like we did this last week.
Do you feel like that is a sort of consistent thing you'd say over like even the last 5 years? I mean, that's part of the DNA of your success, or anything particularly else you would point to about the organization? Or
yeah, no, that for sure. I mean, it starts off at the top, and I think if you look at our organization, everybody comes to work with the mindset of how can they make themselves better to make this organization better. And so Coach Reid, he's created that culture, the coaching staff, the players, everybody. I mean, everybody that's in this building is trying to do whatever they can every day to make this whole entire building better.
Patrick, you pushed the ball down the field a lot more on Sunday. Just wonder if that's what you saw defensively, if that was a point of emphasis for you.
I think it was just they came up and they challenged us. They played man coverage. Even when they were playing zones, they pressed their corners and tried to make sure that they were challenging us at the line of scrimmage, and it gave us opportunities to make some plays downfield. And I mean, that's something that I've always want to do, is throw the ball deep and give guys chances to make plays. And so I've learned to be patient and kind of take the stuff over the middle and the shorter passes. But if I have the opportunity to go for the deep shot, I'm going to make sure I maximize it. I don't get a lot of those anymore.
Have you seen or maybe been waiting because you have been effective, being patient? Have you sort of been waiting for maybe it to reverse back in that manner?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, as the last few games, people have kind of played more man coverage and came up and been more physical with our receivers at the line of scrimmage, and it's a tribute to them. They're winning. They're getting downfield. They're winning on their routes, and giving me a chance to make some throws and let them make plays. And so I think it started maybe the Titans game or the Raiders game, kind of one of those games. They started playing more and more man coverage, and the Chargers did a good job of it for the most part, but we were able to make enough plays at the end of the game to win it.
Patrick, I remember in the offseason you were sort of surprised to go through the reps for the first time with Justin Watson, yet he continues to be a productive player for the offense. Just how valuable do you see him right now in this unit, and is it surprising to you now that he's been this productive from obviously when you guys first started working together?
It hasn't. I mean, obviously, when you first get there, you don't. I mean, like I hit the receivers that I knew, and then Justin Watson, I knew we had signed him, but I just kind of texted him and told him to come down. And you see it. You saw it the first day in Texas. You can see how he ran routes, how fast he was. I knew he had a chance to make the team at that time, but we had a lot of competition in that room, and I think it kind of made him even better with the competition. And he accepted the challenge. He was helping other guys. He was getting reps in whenever he could in training camp. If the guy went down, he was the first guy to hop up. And I think that's proven to be why he's had so much success this season, is whenever guys have went down or he's had to hop in for a rep, he makes the most of it. And you have to have those guys, because we have situations like we had this last game. He can be that guy to step up and make a lot of big plays for us.
Patrick, it sounds like Bryce Perkins may get to start at quarterback for them this week. Just what do you remember about being a young quarterback in this league and some of the veterans kind of talking to you before and after the game, and what does it feel like to be in that position now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you got to rely on your coaches and the guys around you. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I remember is obviously you're going into a new environment. I mean, he's playing at Arrowhead. I was playing, I think, at Mile High in my first start. You're going to a new environment. It's going to be a tough challenge for you. But how can you rely on what your coaches have taught you, your fundamentals, and your teammates around you to bring the best out of you?
You've won 25 games in a row now, this team, or in the November, December games the last few years. What is it about this time of year that gets you dialed in, that you like about this time of year?
I think it's just we continue just to get better as the season goes on. I mean, at the beginning of the year, you're trying to find out who you are. You're trying to find out what are your best plays, what do you want to go to in those go-to moments. And as the season goes on, you figure that stuff out. And then the practice gets easier. So, Coach Reed, that might be it. I don't know.
Patrick, 4 games this season, you guys have been trailing at halftime where you've come out the second half, you've been able to pull out the win. Can you point your finger on anything? Is there anything that's said at halftime, or what is it where you guys flip that switch and come out and pull it out?
Yeah, I think, guys, we make adjustments. The coaching staff comes in, we make adjustments at halftime. We try to execute those things. We see the defense is doing against us as offense, and then the same vice versa what the offense is doing against our defense. And I think we do a great job of making adjustments, executing those, and guys have the mentality of we're going to find a way. And so you have to be a great second-half team in this league in order to win games. Every game's close in this league. I think everybody knows that. But hopefully we can try to get some leads going into halftime and make it a little easier on ourselves. That would help.
Patrick, just to follow up on the practice getting easier, I mean, Andy Reid's known for a brutal camp, and there are definitely some miserable days. Do you get the sense that guys enjoy coming to the building a little bit more in a sense later in the year just because of it being a little bit looser?
I think guys, I think the camp that Coach Reid has is so it helps us so much as the season goes on. 'Cause we've been through those adverse moments when you're tired, your body's hurting, and you got to go out there and still execute at a high level. And so it prepares you for games when you're in those situations. And so the practices slim down as the season goes on, but you've built up that stamina of you know you can put in that work and be at the top of your game. And so I told those new receivers especially, I was like, get through training camp and you'll be ready to go for the entire season. And I think they understand that now, and they understand why we did what we did in training camp to prepare them to be in those moments in the season.
Go two more, go Adam and then Matt. Go ahead, Adam.
Patrick, with the run game starting to pick up these last couple of weeks, how does that kind of help you as a quarterback? I know that you would be willing to throw the ball every time, but now that you kind of have the run game picking up, and as it starts to get colder, you probably do want to start running the ball a little bit more. How does that help the offense a little bit?
Yeah, I think our offense is in a completely different place when we run the ball well. The offensive line gets going. It helps them in not only run blocking, but pass blocking as well, because the defense doesn't know what to account for. It helps open up play action and stuff like that. So, I mean, we run the football. I mean, if you look at our games, the games we have most success is when we run the ball well. And so you want to still be who we are and throw the ball when we need to, but being able to establish the run is huge. Any time of the year, I'm not really worried about the cold. I can throw it in the cold, I think.
Patrick, the league's doing quite a bit to celebrate John Madden tomorrow for Thanksgiving. Just as a young player growing up, what did Madden mean to you?
Yeah, he meant a ton, man. I mean, I got Madden the video game, like right when Madden the video game became it, which it still is. And so I played it all growing up, hearing his voice. I mean, it's ingrained in me now. And I watched a documentary this last year, and I'm doing the turducken this year. So I'm going to try it out. I'm not cooking it. I can't cook, but my chef's already preparing it and getting it ready to go, and I'll let y'all know next week how it is.
Thank y'all.
Look forward to the review, man.
All right, that is Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, turducken. I'm not well versed on turducken. I mean, I only know it from John Madden, but I'm not going to.
I've never tried it. I couldn't.
I haven't either. I've heard everybody says it's amazing. So
I'd like to try it. Yeah, I mean, I've had turkey and I've had duck, and what is it? Chicken too? That's part of it. Yeah, I've had chicken. I couldn't tell you how the mixture is.
I've heard it. Al Michaels was talking about it the other night on the broadcast on Thursday Night Football. He said it's amazing. So you know what?
I have to try it sometime.
If the opportunity presented itself, I'd be all in. But I'm not going to get too much into the food stuff right now because that will be addressed in our random question of the day coming up here in just a bit. You heard him talking about the run game there and getting Pacheco going the other night. We talked to Nate Taylor yesterday when he joined us here on Cody and Gold, and I asked him, I was just like, so this is Isaiah's backfield now, right? And he was, oh yeah, of course it is. But the reason why it's even worth asking is just because I feel like you could have kind of said this a while ago, and yet they'd still been given Clyde opportunities. And there's part of me that does wonder, Clyde's going to be out for at least 4 weeks, which is massive. When he comes back, though, which would be last month of the regular season, it feels like he's going to be coming back to an opportunity or a situation where he's going to have much less opportunity than he did when he left. Because as good as Pacheco was during that game, he's not getting those, 17 carries if Clyde doesn't go down.
Yeah. No, he's not getting those touches, but
15 carries.
He had 15 carries. I mean, this is a really, really bad situation for Clyde. Clyde he'd already lost his starting job
he's done.
Just naturally. And now at this point, Jarek's been getting a lot more play. Right now, Ronald Jones legitimately has a chance to play, unless the Chiefs decide we don't like Ronald so much, we're going to go get one of these running backs that just got let go, like a Melvin Gordon or a Darrell Henderson Jr. to come in here and play for us. Unless they make that kind of move, which at that point, if you do that, you just got to get rid of Rojo. But at this point, you think Rojo gets some time.
Rojo might play on Sunday.
Yeah, he might play Sunday. If that happens and he plays well, I don't know if you can justify keeping Clyde in the rotation very much at this point now. To me, it's just this point now, Clyde, he might end up being a late season release if you start seeing Rojo go out there and play well. I mean, this is worst case scenario.
Yeah, people keep saying, oh, we'll trade him. We'll trade him. What are you getting for him?
Who's trading for Clyde? This isn't you remember years ago when Chris Getz played for the Royals. Oh, trade him. Trade Omar Infante. If you were another team, if you were another team looking for a running back, would you trade for Clyde?
No, because you know why?
They're a dime a dozen.
Well, it's not just that. That's important too. It's that There has been no running back to enter the league in a more tailor-made situation for him to succeed, because you play with Patrick Mahomes, which means nobody respects the run. Every time he is in the game, he faces, I think, the 10th lowest amount of loaded boxes of any running back, any of the 50 qualified running backs in the NFL this year.
Oh, that's a deep cut stat right there.
I mean, but think about it, right? It tells you a perfect picture. When he's in the game, defenses know they're passing the ball. Or, more importantly, they know he's not good. So they're saying, we're going to give you an empty box. We're not bringing people up in. We're not going to defend the run at all. We know you can't beat us. And he still struggles to run the ball. That tells you everything you need to know. They're daring them to run, and even when they do, they can't get production because he's not very good.
And he was specifically brought in because he could catch the football. And yet, time after time, this year and the last 2 seasons before, Clyde would get an opportunity to make a big catch, and he drops it.
Hey, you know what we're doing, though? We're doing what I said we wouldn't do, or at least what I said I wouldn't do. I said I wasn't being negative.
I mean, it's too late for that, buddy.
I feel like I dipped my toes into the water, but I'm going to redeem myself on the other side, because the flip side of Clyde's no good argument is that Isaiah Pacheco is good. I'm excited to see what he's going to do the rest of the season. I think there's one specific area where he can help the Chiefs address what has been a negative this year. I'll explain it on the other side. This is Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Subscribe and download all new episodes of Nick's Wavin' in the Wheat podcast, released every Thursday on the 435 Podcast Network and the Odyssey app.
Get more kicks out of every World Soccer match with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. Soccer fans, it is the perfect time to check out FanDuel, because new customers get $125 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Safe, secure, super easy to use, and you can bet on anything you like, from the money line, goals scored, to corners. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with what's called a same-game parlay. And best of all, you get paid your winnings instantly. So don't miss this opportunity. You can get $125 in free bets, win or lose, when you join with FanDuel, as long as you use my promo code CDOT. Make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app.
21 and present in Kansas. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 7 days after receipt. Max free bet ranging from $5 to $100. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
We are here for spring fevers and lowering fevers, here for first checkups and first dances, here for planting seeds and growing communities. For more than 80 years, Blue KC has been here for good and will be here for the moments that matter, today and tomorrow. Because at Blue KC, we are here for good. Learn more at hereforgoodkc.com.
Looks like it's jewelry sales season again. Yep, that time when jewelry stores come out of the woodwork with so-called once-a-year savings of 20, 30, even 50% off. Question, doesn't that mean then that their prices are normally 20, 30, even 50% higher than they should be? Hi, this is Gene at House of Diamonds. We don't play those games. Our prices every day are like other stores' so-called sale prices. We buy our diamonds direct from the cutters, choose only the best 5% in each grade, and pass the savings on to you. Nearly all the jewelry we sell is designed and crafted right here in our shop. No big-name designer markups here. And our diamond jewelry comes with a double lifetime guarantee and more free Diamond Club services than I can list. So the next time you hear about a big jewelry sale, thank them for letting you know how much extra they normally charge, and then come see us at House of Diamonds. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com/sports. That's getrefunds.com/sports.
If you want to experience the unmatched flavor of live fire grilling, then look no further than the Big Green Egg. Forget the pellets, the propane, the knockoffs. Roll with the best. An authentic Big Green Egg grill backed by a free lifetime warranty. Yeah, lifetime. It's that good. Grill, roast, smoke, or bake. It's versatile, easy to light, and simple to use. Shop online for free home delivery at BigGreenEgg.com. That's free home delivery to your door. Let your grilling adventure begin. Visit BigGreenEgg.com.
Yellowstone, television's #1 show, is back on Paramount Network.
I, John Dutton, do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the state of Montana against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Featuring an all-star cast led by Academy Award winner Kevin Costner.
The invasion is over.
They will fight you dirty.
Is there any other way?
As the Dutton family fights to protect their legacy, they'll learn power has a price.
Signing this is a declaration of war.
We're already at war.
Yellowstone. New episodes Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Paramount Network.
Visit Shane Company. We have the largest selection of natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes, each one hand-selected for its beauty.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-610-9256. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-610-9256. That's 800-610-9256. Again, 800-610-9256.
What's worse than calling your groin your junk? Treating it like junk. Respect your pubic region with Gillette Intimate. Gentle and easy pubic hair care from America's #1 trusted men's grooming brand. Gillette, the best a man can get. Buy now at Walmart.
Friday, the biggest World Cup showdown kicks off on Fox.
Oh my goodness!
Christian Pulisic leads the Stars and Stripes.
What can this kid do?
Against the unstoppable Harry Kane and global powerhouse England.
What a night!
Team USA face their toughest test of the tournament with everything on the line and a chance to shock the world.
That is magnificent!
USA, England. Coverage begins Friday at 1 Eastern on Fox.
This hour of Chiefs coverage is brought to you by IHOP.
One long wintry night, we put hot cinnamon apples on top of the thickest and fluffiest French toast available at IHOP. Try our new thick and fluffy ginger snap apple French toast today. Part of our holiday menu. Let's put a smile on your plate for a limited time at participating locations.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Brown and Crouppen Studios.
All right, we got the random question of the day coming up here in about 20 minutes or so with Chris Unocero. I am Nick Schwartz filling in for, well, yesterday, I don't know, we did the math. I was Wally Pipping Alex, and Jed was Wally Pipping me, Cody wasn't Wally pipping anyone. Now I'm Wally pipping Cody. You're Wally pipping me, I guess. So I've gotten Wally pipped the second day in a row.
Do you guys use that a lot on this show?
Only because they brought it up one time, and I didn't know the reference.
I don't either, so...
Oh,
this is different for
damn
me.
It, now I have to explain it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you used
Wally
it
Pip was
like 5 times
Okay,
just
here's what's going to happen. The text lines, I'm going to get 20 texts on the text line. Being like, are you guys serious? I believe it was either like Lou Gehrig or Mickey Mantle, who, like, Wally Pip was the starter. He got injured. One of those guys came in and then took his job. So there it is.
Oh, yeah, okay. You know what? I think I actually know that reference now. Now that you explained it. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. I've heard that before. I just didn't know it.
Okay.
But I know it now.
So, yeah, that's our situation. We'll get to the random question here in a bit, but...
You should just use Rich Gannon. You could say Rich Gannon instead.
What about Kurt Warner?
You can say Kurt Warner, too.
Tom Brady would probably work
Tom
pretty
Brady
well.
would work, too.
It seems like
a
little more topical, a little more time, not quite as dated as Wally Pipp.
Exactly. That seems better.
So I want to talk about more about Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We got a text during the break.
Somebody is very, very voracious defender.
Yeah, they're voracious, but you know what? The only reason I'm going to read it is because they're being respectful. They're not just calling us idiots and saying you guys don't know what you're talking about.
Probably saying that off the text.
That's fine. You know what, though? You can say it all you want off the text. If you're going to be rude on the text, we're not going to read them. But this comes from the 816. And the argument that I was making on the other side was that it's very apparent that that Pacheco is a better runner than Clyde, and he's going to lose his job. He's going to get Wally pipped. Boom, did it again. From the 816, he said, I don't like that argument. You're acting like Clyde, gets 20 carries a game. If he was on any other team that runs the ball like a normal team, he would get 70 yards a game, but he doesn't get 20. He gets maybe 5. So to say he sucks after he gets 10 yards on 5 carries is just short-sighted. If you look at his best games where they actually gave him the ball like other teams run running backs, then he has good numbers. Now, I do agree with the idea that giving guys 4 or 5 touches out of the backfield does not give you a big enough sample size to draw sweeping conclusions about how good these running backs are. Because let's just look at Pacheco, for instance, right? In the games where he's got extended run and more touches, he's been wildly productive. Let's just look at the games where he's got 10-plus carries. Week 1 against Arizona, some of that was garbage time, but 12 for 62. Week 4 against Tampa, 11 carries for 63 yards. Last 2 weeks where he's been your lead back. Jacksonville, he went 16 for 82. Chargers, he went 15 for 107. So to this texter's point, you give guys more opportunity, they can do more with it. Because if you start slow and then all of a sudden you get benched, you never get the opportunity to progress to the point where your numbers start to look more efficient. Here's the problem, though. Isaiah Pacheco, in the first 10 games of his career, has already had 4 games, Chris, where he's had over 60 yards rushing. 4 games in the first 10 of his career, he's went over 60 yards. And those were the 4 games I just mentioned, the ones where he was actually given run. Clyde hasn't done that since his rookie season. Clyde has not had 4 games in a season since his first year where he had 4 games of more than 60 yards rushing. Pacheco's done it in half a season.
And you also have to take into account that he's consistently hurt. And in this sport, at that position, where unless you are among the elite of the elite, you don't have a safe starting role as a running back, you can't keep getting hurt like that. And that's not really something he can control, I don't think. I don't think he's doing anything reckless. It's just the nature of the game. But that is part of the issue here, is that he hasn't proven to be reliable.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Pacheco didn't get – it wasn't like he was the starter at the beginning of the year and it was some unfair, rigged competition. Pacheco earned the touches he got. Yeah. Me and you were on the air back in August during training camp talking about how Pacheco was going to get a lot more touches in this offense because of what we had seen at training camp. And every single game, we have seen more and more of Pacheco being out there where it feels like he is just taking the reins of that running game. And I don't know how you can watch him and watch Clyde and be like, Clyde deserves more opportunities than Pacheco because Pacheco has more juice when he's running, and he just seems to have something that Clyde doesn't have.
He looks like a legit NFL running back.
Exactly. And I understand because I was excited about Clyde because that first game against the Texans, like they clearly gave him, it was like, you are going to be the guy that we run the offense through. Mm-hmm. That game against the Bills, he was the focus of the offense in that game, and those are his two best games of his career. But since then, he has had injury issues, and he has had consistency issues out there where it just feels like he's left the door open for someone to take his job, and now someone has.
And listen, I think there have been more Clyde defenders out there than we seem to think. We seem to think that like nobody likes Clyde. I think a lot of people do like Clyde. They think that he has a useful role. Here's the problem. First off, perception when you draft a guy in the first round and then they've had the lack of production that he's had, it's going to make it seem worse than it really has been. If you drafted Clyde in the third or fourth round, we would just say, like, he's been a nice running back. That's how we would talk about him. But instead, because he was a first-round pick, you talk about him with a little bit more disdain. Here, ultimately, is my problem with Clyde. I talked about the having 8 defenders in the box, and I get it. This is sort of advanced numbers, and I don't like making full arguments on this because I don't think it's all that interesting. But I think it's important to prove the point of the difference between Clyde and Pacheco and what they're doing for this offense this year. Amongst the 50 qualified running backs, there are 6 guys in the league. Excuse me, 5 guys in the league who face lighter boxes than Clyde does. 10% of the time when he's in the game, there are 8 defenders in the box. That is 7th fewest in the NFL. And look at the guys ahead of him. It will start to make sense now. 2 of them play for the Arizona Cardinals, or at least did. James Conner and Eno Benjamin. What do the Cardinals like to do, Chris? They pass the ball.
Oh, yeah.
So when the running back's in there, you know what the defense is never doing? Hey, let's stop the run. Let's account for the run. Doesn't happen. 2 other guys who are ahead of him play for the Rams. Darrell Henderson, I guess he just got cut, and Cam Akers. What do the Rams like to do? Throw the ball. And the last remaining player would be Aaron Jones, who plays for the Packers. What do the Packers like to do? Throw the ball. The Chiefs are no different. Clyde's no different. That's not necessarily an indictment on a player because we know Aaron Jones is very good. James Conner's had a nice career. It's not to say those players all suck. It's that it's predictable when that player is in the game and they don't respect him. They don't respect Clyde because they say even if they hand the ball off to him, we don't care because he's not going to rip off a big run. The reason why this number is important is because now I'm going to tell you about Isaiah Pacheco. Let's start at the very top. Nobody faces more situations with 8 defenders in the box than Derrick Henry. Makes sense. Derrick Henry's in the game. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to handle the ball 23 to 27 times a game, and we need to account for it. You know who else is up near the top of the list in terms of facing heavy boxes? Nick Chubb. Makes sense. Pretty much any running back who plays for Baltimore or Atlanta, not because they're superstars, but it's because all those teams want to do is run the ball. It's schematic, right? The Chiefs, we know, like to pass the ball. But then explain to me why Isaiah Pacheco is 12th amongst qualified running backs. When he is in the game, he is facing 8 defenders in the box 27% of the time. That's a little shocking, Chris, because even when Pacheco's in the game, the expectation is that the Chiefs are going to pass the ball. What it tells you, though, is that defenses respect Isaiah Pacheco already in his career, 10 games into his career, more than they respect Clyde. And the proof is overwhelming. You can say what you want about sample size, not getting enough touches, that's fine. Pacheco's 10 games into his career, he's only had over 10 carries in a game 4 times. So it's not as though the Chiefs are giving him all sorts of opportunities that they haven't given Clyde. He's got 75 carries this year compared to Clyde's 70. All right? The splits are almost identical, except one guy has been far more efficient. When Clyde's in, nobody respects him. When Pacheco comes in, it's the exact opposite. Here's the issue, though, because the Chiefs still have a short yardage situation problem. I mean, go back to the first quarter the first drive of the first quarter on Sunday night, the Chiefs kick a field goal. It highlights the fact that they've been so bad this year on 3rd and 1. Pacheco, in theory, should help in this regard. He is more of a north-south runner. He seems to hit those gaps quicker. He seems to have burst at the line of scrimmage more than Clyde does. The problem is that defenses load the box when he's in the game, so he doesn't face the same situations that Clyde does. Where this leaves me is that the Chiefs are very predictable with their running backs. We know what McKinnon does. He's the third down back. He is your pass blocking back. The Chiefs are predictable because both of those guys, Clyde and Pacheco, are one-dimensional. Clyde isn't a runner. Pacheco isn't a receiver. I think he only has 3 receptions on the season. Until that reality changes, defenses week to week, at least when it comes to running back and personnel and who's on the field, they're not going to have to think all that much about what they're doing when one guy's in the game versus the other until somebody proves that they can be a more versatile running back. And now with Clyde on the IR going to be out the next 4 weeks, oddly enough, I think these short yardage woes can be fixed by Pacheco being more of a threat in the passing game, because the second you have to account for him as a potential receiver out of the backfield, it's going to then open up more opportunities for him to face lighter boxes and to be more productive as a runner on those short yardage situations. Because if there is one thing that you would want to complain about, the only thing really that you have to complain about this offense right now is that they're just not great on those 3rd and 1 situations. Everything else is aces. Everything else they can do no wrong. The only time anybody gets nervous about the Chiefs' offense is when it's 3rd and 1, which is funny because the rest of the league seems to thrive in those areas.
I feel like one of the issues that I have with the whole discussion of like Clyde he's not getting any chances. Andy's not one of those guys that's going to hand the ball off 25 times a game. That's just not what he does. He's very much, we're going to throw 60. I mean, I think like at one point this season was like almost 70% of the time they were throwing. And I think that was like right before the Titans game where they had 68 attempts. Like the Chiefs don't run the football a whole lot. They're just not going to do that, and they're not going to build their offense around running the football. They're never going to commit 20 carries to one running back. That's just not realistic. Hell, that's not just a Chiefs thing. That's an NFL thing in general. If you look at the number of carries that a lot of the top running backs are getting now, a lot of those guys are averaging somewhere around 15 carries at most. Like if you look at a lot of these offenses, it's 2 running back schemes all throughout the league. Look at San Fran. Look at Miami now that they got Jeff Wilson Jr. Like all these teams that are heavy on the run still are divvying up carries pretty evenly. Like Christian McCaffrey, he wasn't the leading rusher for the 49ers when they played on Monday. It was what's his name? Elijah Mitchell. Mm-hmm. They always, like, the league has become very much a league of committees. Even in Dallas, they got Zeke Elliott. Zeke's starting to lose some of that juice. Tony Pollard now is basically their number 1 back. He's the one that has the juice in the running game. I understand this idea that you saw those 2 games in 2020 where it looked like Clyde could be a feature back, and so you think, give him an opportunity, he'll do it. I don't think that's what Clyde is, man. And I think the Chiefs know that because they've been watching him practice and play games for 3 years now. And they know what he is and what he isn't. He's not a feature back. There's a reason why everybody was talking about Pacheco taking that starting job at some point this year. And now it's happened. And it's not an accident. And I'm going to trust Andy Reid when he watches those guys practice every week and he says, that number 10 kid, he's better than the 25 kid. So, and again, we're never going to see Andy Reid feature the run unless he's got an Alex Smith level quarterback out there and he's got a Jamal Charles level running back out there. And that's not going to happen anytime soon because of Patrick Mahomes. So I understand the whole issue with them not getting Clyde a chance like some people think, but he got his opportunities. You have limited opportunities. You got to do the most with them, and he hasn't done the most with them.
If you want to chime in on the Jays Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7610, Show me comparable Clyde carries over 15, comparable games where Clyde got over 15 carries when he didn't produce. I said that.
Go do that yourself. Go.
Okay.
Go
I can do it. I can do it really quick because it's pretty simple. I gave you earlier the games in which Pacheco's gotten at least 10 carries this year. He's in games where he's gotten over 10 carries in a game. He is averaging 78 yards per game. He is averaging 5.5 yards per carry. But if you want me to do this, I don't think you're going to like it. How about a 10-carry, 38-yard game from Edwards-Helaire? How about an 11-carry, 37-yard game? How about a 16-carry, 32-yard game? How about a 10-carry, 37-yard game? We can do more.
Was that 16 carry? Was that the Colts game?
That was Miami of his rookie year.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, there are plenty. And again, it's not as if Clyde is a useless running back. That's not the point here. It's not as though this guy is just devoid of any talent. He should have no role on the team. He should never see another snap. That's not what I'm saying at all. This is not to bury Clyde. It is simply the fact that you drafted a running back in the 7th round, and kudos to you. He happens to be very useful, and he can help this team in a way that Clyde simply can't. Clyde will have a role. But I don't know at this point how you can make an argument that he should still be the lead back on this team. The proof is in the pudding. This guy, Pacheco, has opened up a new level of offense that they need. They don't ever need to rely upon it, but it needs to be a tool in your bag. And I think the Chiefs have found that out over the last couple of weeks. Let's get to the random question of the day.
Random question.
All right, to you, Chris, and to you on the Jay's Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7610. I figure you assumed this was going to be a Thanksgiving-themed random question of the day.
Yeah, that's pretty safe on the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you don't say. Okay, I'm going to start with a little preamble here before I get to the actual question. So, all I've been tasked to do is bring a side dish. All I've been asked to do is bring a side dish, and it's not that I'm anti-traditional Thanksgiving side dishes. It's just that, like, I don't know. Like, I guess I could do sweet potatoes. I've done that before. But I like to sort of do, like, the finger foods before we actually sit down and eat. Do you guys have a little grazing period where you've just got food sitting out that everybody's kind of snacking on before you actually sit down and eat?
Maybe we'll have some type of dip or something, but
okay, so
not a whole lot.
So what I was thinking about making is like you getting some of those like the Hawaiian rolls and just like slicing the whole top of the whole package off and then making the little like ham or turkey sliders.
Yeah.
Is that you think that's a strong?
I don't know if it's strong.
It's not strong.
I don't know if it's
fine.
strong.
You're only giving me fine.
It's fine. Like it's doable.
I mean, I'm gonna dress it up a little bit. I'm gonna smoke it, and then I'll put some of that like turkey, or I'll put some of that like garlic butter. That'll brush over the top. We're gonna dress it up a little bit.
I mean, it's fine.
Okay,
it's
so I can't get more than fine.
It's
okay.
I mean, I'm not a big like ham and cheese sliders person. There's probably some people on text line that would love that idea, I'm sure, but my own personal taste, it's fine.
Okay, well, somebody on the text line says sliders may be too much. What do you mean too much? I need less?
No, you're good. Just get one of the big packs of the Hawaiian rolls, and you're good to go. It's not too much.
Should I not even do anything? Should I just bring the rolls and say, here you go?
Don't bring no rolls. Don't. If you're gonna bring something, like you can't bring one of the main sides. You got to bring something lesser, because like I at least in my family, the person who's making the dinner, who's hosting it, they have to make like all the main sides and obviously the turkey.
How big's your get together going to be?
It's usually like 20, 25 people.
Okay,
that's
good. That's good size.
Yeah, something.
So
like that.
we do the traditional sides. Like last year, I brought cornbread muffins.
They were from
scratch. I did not buy the pre-mixed.
You didn't buy the
from scratch, man.
Wow.
So they were fire.
Okay, respect.
A little bit powdered sugar on top as well. So.
Okay.
I'm known to not disappoint. I just want to make that be known. But for the random question of the day, this is going to be so. This is the most cliche random question of the day, but it's only 1 year we get to do it. What's the plate looking like tomorrow? What is the perfect Thanksgiving plate? Even if it's not for tomorrow, if you know that like your aunt's going to mess up the mashed potatoes, that happens to me all the time, dude.
Whoever is making the mashed potatoes that's messing them up needs to be taken off of the mashed potatoes.
Get this. So my aunt makes the best mashed potatoes ever. I think she uses like a little cream cheese or something. I don't know. There's something in there that just makes it so good. Here's the problem, Chris. She shows up on average 45 to an hour and a half late. And because it's mashed potatoes, you don't go back and just eat mashed potatoes after you've dealt with an entire meal. So we always wait. We always have to wait. It's so flagrant. And this is not a once every so often. It's an every single Thanksgiving. She always brings the mashed potatoes, and she is always just, offensively late.
You got to take her off. You got to take her off.
But
that
nobody
assignment.
else can make the mashed potatoes as good as her.
Mashed potatoes aren't that hard to make.
I know they're not, but I mean, it's just like that's her thing.
Like somebody's got to like butter her up and get the secret recipe, and then you take over that responsibility from her because she can't be trusted if she's late every year. So you gotta take that off her plate.
All right, I want to hear what your plate is. Some people are just saying, I don't know. I'm going to ask like 7 different questions. I don't really care. All right, here we go. Green rice, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, candied yams, ham, and deep-fried turkey fire. So we are doing smoked turkey this year. My dad's got a little smoker.
Smoked turkey is very strong. I've had it the last couple years. First time I had ever had it was a couple years ago. It's pretty great. I am a big fan of smoked turkey.
I'm going to be honest with you.
My family does deep-fried, though.
I've done both. Yeah, deep-fried and smoked are both good.
Deep-fried's great.
I'm going to be honest with you. Turkey in the oven is incredibly spare.
It's not. It's
not good.
I'm not.
It's not good.
I gotta do a lot of magic to make it edible.
Well, because I don't feel like everybody did. It's so seldom done well when cooked in the oven. I feel like it's so often overcooked. It's dry. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, you got to deep fry it or you got to smoke it.
I waited all year for some dry ass white meat turkey. Like this ain't it.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people do the ham too now, because it's like, hey, if you don't have dry-ass turkey, you can have ham.
I've come around on ham, man.
I don't really mess with ham like that. I'm not a huge ham guy.
I've come around.
But, if you got, like, oven-baked turkey as the alternative to the ham, I understand you taking the ham.
Yeah, but that's why my dad always hosts at this point, and I kind of told him, we had a come to Jesus moment. I had to sit him down, and I said, hey, man, this oven turkey, it's not doing it for me.
You had to sit down at the kitchen table there?
Yeah, we had to have a long talk. I'd say, hey, I know you're usually the one who's delivering these talks, but now it's time for me to talk to you, man. No more oven-baked turkey.
Yeah, my dad stopped doing it like 15 years ago. 15 years ago, he's like, I'm on the deep-fried kick, and it was one of the best decisions he ever made at the time. It was a very good choice. Thanksgiving has never been the same since the deep fried turkey changed.
Yeah, I'm with you. I had it probably for the first time 3 years ago, and I said, okay, I'm back on turkey. I was done with turkey, and now we're doing deep fried. Now we're doing smoked turkey. I'm officially back on team turkey. That's the random question of the day, even though there was absolutely nothing random about it. Coming up next, the Chiefs' offense has been not just good, but elite. The best offense. Who deserves most of the credit? We'll give you our takes on the other side. It's Cody and Gold, 610 Sports Radio.
There's Kelsey to the end zone.
Cody and Gold brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Some of you have probably noticed we started video streaming our show as well on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. You name it. And one of the things we make sure looks good is the lighting. And one of those things that we have to be cognizant of is that we don't have the lights reflecting through Cody's glasses and showing up on camera. Fortunately, it's not something we got to worry about with mine because I don't wear glasses anymore. I don't wear contacts anymore. I've told you guys about the great staff at Dury Vision and how about 18 months ago I went in for SBK Advanced LASIK. I had a free consultation. 2 days later, I had my procedure that just took minutes. And then the next day I was driving into work, and now I see without contacts, without glasses. It is simply incredible. It's been the best decision I've ever made. And right now, don't forget, it's a great time to take advantage of open enrollment season. LASIK is an eligible expense under most of your flex spending and health savings accounts. So give DuraVision a call at 913-491-3330 or just go online to DuraVision.com. Again, 913-491-3330. And tell them Gold from 610 sent you.
Okay, we admit it. With literally thousands of different wines, craft beers, and fine spirits, Lucas Wine and Spirit Superstore can sometimes make it hard to choose. That's why we have certified sommeliers, cicerones, and spirits experts right there in the aisles to help. But one choice you will never have to make at Lucas is buying local or saving money. For 35 years, locally owned Lucas Wine and Spirit Superstores has been selling more beer, wine, and spirits in a week than some stores sell in a year. That's why we can sell it for less, way less. And while inflation is raising prices elsewhere, Lucas is holding the line or even lowering prices just in time for tailgating or a quiet fall evening on the patio. Shop local and save local at locally owned Lucas Wine and Spirits Superstores in the Northland, Overland Park, and South Kansas City. Online at lucaskc.com.
Lucas Wine and Spirits Superstore in a glass by itself.
Hi, I'm Steve Hedgepeth with Quad Power Products, your trusted source for hydraulics, pneumatics, standard and metric fittings and adapters, and industrial hose. Plus, we have a full-service cylinder repair shop. Come see us on Hickman Mills Drive in South Kansas City, or call and speak with one of our knowledgeable sales staff at 816-965-8925. Find us on the web at quadfluidpower.com. Quad Power Products. We've been solving our customers' fluid power problems over 25 years.
Football, tailgating, and parties, and Smokehouse Barbecue. I can't think of anything better. No matter what you're celebrating, Smokehouse Barbecue will celebrate with you. Private banquet rooms at all 3 area locations, Independence, Gladstone, and Zona Rosa. Or if you're hosting your own party in the KC Metro, invite Smokehouse to cater and deliver. Order the whole meal with their famous ribs and wings. Or if you're flexing your skills on the grill but need Smokehouse Barbecue's hickory pit beans or cheesy corn to go with your masterpiece, give them a call or visit smokehousebbq.com.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, we are here. Here for spring fevers and lowering fevers. Here for first checkups and first dances. Here for planting seeds and growing communities. For more than 80 years, Blue KC has been here for good and will be here for the moments that matter, today and tomorrow. Because at Blue KC, we are here for good. Learn more at hereforgoodkc.com.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Brown and Crouppen Studios.
Rare and colorful gemstones formed in the earth. Expert hands selecting only the best. Designers creating jewelry inspired by each stone's uniqueness. At Shane Company, we're passionate about gemstones. We have holiday gifts with a full spectrum of natural, colorful gemstones. Peach morganite, tanzanite, London blue topaz, red garnet, and more. Throughout the year, Tom Shane travels to Bangkok, the gemstone capital of the world, to handpick the best rubies and over a dozen colors of sapphires. He then has the stones expertly cut to bring out their brilliance and beauty. Our stunning gemstone jewelry makes a magical gift. We're open 7 days a week, so come in, meet with one of our friendly jewelry consultants and leave with a beautiful gift, or get fast and free shipping when you order online. Your gift will be treasured forever.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, we are here. Here for spring fevers and lowering fevers. Here for first checkups and first dances. Here for planting seeds and growing communities. For more than 80 years, Blue KC has been here for good and will be here for the moments that matter, today and tomorrow. Because at Blue KC, we are here for good. Learn more at hereforgoodkc.com.
What makes for a great vacation? Depends on who you ask. Are you looking to get away or bring everyone together? Do you want to get outside and play or see a play at the plate? Fortunately, however you operate, I'm the destination you've been looking for. The name's Missouri, but you can call me Mo. And I have just one question. What's your MO? Come see me at visitmo.com.
At the Home Depot, we have plenty of Christmas trees to make your holidays even more magical. Hundreds of full, easy-to-assemble artificial trees that look so real, you may be convinced they actually are. And for those who love that fresh pine smell, we have a parking lot full of fresh-cut trees to call your own. We'll even help you load your tree in the car so you can bring home the holidays. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A's locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Travis Kelce. Don't miss my brother Patrick Mahomes and C-Dot every Monday at 2:15 right here on 610 Sports Radio. See you guys on Sunday.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
Thanksgiving food is such a polarizing topic. You start talking about like side dishes or like turkey versus ham. People are passionate, man. People are passionate about this meal. I've seen it's become popular in recent years to sort of like turn your nose up at Thanksgiving food. And if that's your opinion, if you are someone who's like, you know what, Thanksgiving's overrated, the food's not that good, I regret to inform you that sir, madam, it's not Thanksgiving food in general. It's yours. It's your family. It's the people who you are surrounding yourself with on Thanksgiving. Because if your Thanksgiving meal is not good, it's because the people in your family are bad at cooking Thanksgiving food. I mean, do you hate sweet potatoes? Do you hate pie? Do you hate mashed potatoes, stuffing, turkey, gravy, ham, cornbread? Like, I mean, I guess we could keep going, but like, if that is not good for you, then it means your family's not kicking into that bucket enough. So look inward before you try and just like completely trash one of the sacred holidays here in America. All right, we were talking earlier today about this offense, this Chiefs offense, which is not just a good offense, it's the best offense in the NFL. Which is funny because there have been times this year where you thought, okay, well, I don't know. I think we're starting to see some of the growing pains. And then the next week turns over and Patrick Mahomes throws for 404 touchdowns. This is the best offense in the NFL by pretty much any metric. They are first in points scored. They are first in yards. They are first in first downs, first in passing yards, first in passing touchdowns. They are first in points per drive. They are second in scoring percentage. Oh, found something that they're not the best at. They're just the second best. This is in a year where the Chiefs, at least relative to the rest of the NFL, stood pat. Miami trades for Tyreek Hill. The Eagles trade for A.J. Brown. The Raiders trade for Devontae Adams. The Broncos trade for Russell Wilson. The Bills hand out a massive contract extension to Stephon Diggs. Everybody went out and tried to add pieces. The Chiefs said, you know what, we'll sign Juju to a one-year deal. We'll get a cheap little deal for MVS, and then we'll be good. We'll draft a few guys. Maybe they'll play, maybe they won't, but we'll just kind of run it back, a few little pieces, maybe a little bit of a recalibration. Yet the Chiefs are the ones who everybody is still chasing. If that offseason wasn't enough for the rest of the NFL and the rest of the AFC to narrow the gap between themselves and the Chiefs, please explain to me the scenario where the Chiefs get caught. The Bills are the only team I even want to talk about. I get it. The Bengals are the ones who beat them in the postseason, but that was not a sustained run that the Bengals went on. They got really hot at the end of the regular season. Burrow and was nuclear. Burrow didn't even play that great in the postseason, but the team was exceptional, and that's how they go to the Super Bowl. But what did they do this offseason, Chris? They went out and spent a ton of money to revamp the offensive line, much like the Chiefs did the year before. The problem is it worked for the Chiefs last year, and the Bengals still have one of the 10 worst offensive lines in the NFL. If this is not the year where the league catches up to the Chiefs, I am just to assume that as long as Andy Reid's coaching, Patrick Mahomes is throwing, and Travis Kelce is catching, they're not just going to be one of the best offenses. They're going to be the best. They have not fallen off one bit. In fact, they're better offensively than they were a year ago. If I'm handing out slices of credit here, if I want to figure out who deserves the most credit, who are we starting with? Who's the first person you're looking at? Is it Andy Reid? Is it Patrick Mahomes? Is it Brett Veach for the decisions and the shrewd decisions that he made this offseason? The contracts that he did and didn't give out? Is it Travis Kelce for at age 33 looking like he's having the best year of his already Hall of Fame career? Who do we start with here when we're talking about why the Chiefs' offense did not fall off and actually is better than they were a year ago and is still the best offense in the NFL?
I mean, I think the obvious answer is Mahomes. But, Andy deserves so much credit for how he has built this team and how he has constructed the roster to where it's kind of like a plug-and-play situation. Because here's the thing. It's, at this point, very evident that it's going to take Chiefs regression in order for someone to be able to surpass them than it is another team catching up to them. Like all offseason we heard, looks like the Bills have caught up to the Chiefs. And, the Bengals are going to catch up because they're going to fix their offensive line. And it hasn't worked. And here's the thing is all of this was basically the Chiefs' entire offseason was smartest guy in the room moves. Let's go draft 3 corners to play, and they're going to play. It's not going to be a situation
two of them
where
were in the 4th and 7th rounds.
Exactly. It's not. We're going to draft a couple of corners. They're going to sit on the bench while we got some veteran guys. No, we're going to draft 3 corners, and they're all going to play. We're going to go out and get plug-and-play receiver. We're going to get Juju Smith-Schuster on a 1-year deal. Marquez Valdez-Scantling on a 1-year deal, and they're going to produce. We're going to go and get Kadarius Toney in the middle of the season, and he's going to produce.
For what is basically a 4th-round pick.
Yeah. You have traded and signed guys to very small, using very little assets, and they're still getting massive production. Very much smartest guy in the room type moves, and it's working. And it's just crazy to see this team make these kind of moves this offseason and still stay on top.
There's really only one guy on the entire roster that you have invested significant capital into and are tied to long term right now, and it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that's it.
He's it. I mean, Travis Kelce is best. It's the best deal in the NFL.
I mean, right behind Mahomes. Yes, it is for any non-quarterback. It's the greatest contract that exists right now in the NFL.
He is getting the same amount of guaranteed money as Curtis Samuel. Think about that.
And Curtis Samuel is a good receiver, but he has not been used very well.
I mean, if Travis Kelce were a wide receiver, he would be like the 30th highest paid wide receiver.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And by the way, I think he's the best pass catcher in the NFL.
I think that's debatable, but I understand where you're coming from. It's a definitely good argument there.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be tough for me to argue against you if you said, okay, what about Devontae Adams? What about Stephon Diggs? What about Tyreek Hill? I get all that. Well, I'll tell you this. I've seen what this offense looks like without Tyreek Hill. I don't want to see what it looks like without Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I think Kelce would have been a bigger loss than Tyreek just because of the chemistry.
And what he does on 3rd down. The fact that he always is always making a play in the most critical junctures of games. And teams know it. Teams know where Mahomes is going, and it doesn't matter.
And they can't cover him. They cannot cover Kelce at all. You had Derwin James, who is probably the best, is either him or Kevin Byard, or probably the best man cover safeties in the game. And he could not cover Kelce when it counted the most. He just couldn't do it. When the Chiefs needed a touchdown at the end of that game, he was covering Kelce on that touchdown. He got burned by Kelce on just a simple crossing pattern. Kelsey caught the ball, took it in for 6, and Derwin James was watching him run it into the end zone. Couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, and Derwin James might be if you could create a player in a lab, Derwin James is the guy that I'm creating to defend Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I mean,
But here's the beauty of Travis Kelce is first off, no defense is just going to say, hey, you're on him every single snap. That's not the way defensive coordinators work.
Yeah, no one's going to do that.
But even if you are the perfect player to defend Travis Kelce, and let's say you're on him for 60% of the routes that he runs, you got to play perfect defense the whole time because Mahomes is looking his way every time. Mahomes said it after the game. If he is single coverage, it's the only thing that will get him out of his progressions. If he sees that Travis Kelce is in single coverage, he basically abandons his progressions and says, let me wait for this guy to get open. So if that's going to be the case, if you're going to put Derwin James or anybody else on Travis Kelce, better hope you play perfect defense on 100% of snaps you're on him. Because if there are 5 snaps where you let him get loose, guess what? Mahomes is going to hit him. And those are when he turns it upfield for big plays and scores touch. That's what happened on the game-winning touchdown. Derwin James on him, short little crossing route where you had Justin Watson going the other way. Mahomes got a step, ball game. Or Kelce got a step, ball game. That was it.
All it took was one step. He's a tight end. He's not a wide receiver. He is a tight end. This is not.
He's 6'5", 250 pounds.
But he burned him. It wasn't a situation where he used his size to catch the football and go down the field, break and attack.
It's not Gronk just carrying defenders on his back.
He's not George Kittle where he's just going to stiff arm you into oblivion. He is using his athleticism, his speed, his agility to burn you. And we've never seen that from a tight end. Like Jimmy Graham was kind of like that, but Jimmy Graham never did it the way that Kelce did.
6'8". They would just toss it up to him in the corner of the end zone.
He still had agility on him way more than a tight end usually does.
Yeah.
But even he wasn't doing what Kelsey's doing right now.
I don't think it's my ultimate answer, but if the question is who deserves the most credit for the Chiefs offense this season, the fact that you're getting, you couldn't afford to have a down year from Kelce. You couldn't afford for him to have any signs of regression.
Yeah, I agree.
If he would have taken even a minor step back, even if it's not because of his game, but it's because that the Chiefs offense becomes easier to defend now that I don't have to pick my poison between Hill and Kelce. I can just always focus the attention on Kelce. The fact that he's actually gotten better, Chris, that cannot be overstated. It is remarkable the fact that you thought that defenses were going to have an easier time defending this offense, yet he is once again having a career year. I think this too. If this isn't if this isn't his peak, I don't know what is.
I mean, we said that 4 years ago too.
Yeah, but here's
we
the
said
difference.
that in 2018.
Here's the difference. So let's go back and look at his sort of career arc. He comes in 2018 and has one of the greatest statistical seasons in NFL history.
Yeah.
50 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, over 5,000 yards.
Probably number 2, I would say.
I don't think he'll ever touch that statistically again. I mean, I don't know. Damn. Now that you get the extra game, you get the extra game. He's on pace for it. He's already. Yeah. He's averaging more passing yards per game than he did that year. He's averaging 326 passing yards.
He's going to come
per game.
very close this year.
Even if he doesn't touch it statistically, I bet you if you went back over the years and you asked Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, hey, what was the best season you ever had? I would bet you it doesn't always perfectly align with their best statistical seasons. Because they're not thinking about the stats. They're thinking about, oh, you know what? That year, I was in total command of the offense. I knew exactly what everybody on the field was doing at all time. Myself and my offensive coordinator were in lockstep all season long. Now, maybe it is the same year that you had your best statistical season. But even if this isn't the best statistical season he's had, the fact that it doesn't matter who's out on the field, look at Sunday night. No Juju, no McColl. Kadarius Toney goes down. So what do? You run 3 tight end sets all night. You're throwing 40-yard bombs. A dime to Jody Fortson, your third string tight end. Sky Moore hasn't been able to get on the field all night. What does he do? Or all season? He wants to get 5 catches, 63 yards. You lose Clyde Edwards-Helaire. What do? You bring in the 7th-round rookie running back, and he goes for 100 yards. Best rushing performance an individual's had for the Chiefs in a year. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who the personnel's been. All he does is continue to produce. He's running away with the MVP race. He is the most talented quarterback in the NFL, and he's not the most accomplished. I mean, Danon Hughes, we had on earlier, brought this up. He said, you know what, he's not the most accomplished. You can't say he is the greatest quarterback, the most accomplished, but you could say he's the most talented, because I don't know what else I'm supposed to see. What are you finger gunning over there?
I'm watching the Belgium-Canada game. And,
I knew it was a soccer game.
The forward there, Carrasco, he had a guy open there with the chance for a goal, and he missed him.
Okay.
Decided to pass it.
You got money on that one?
I have no money on the World Cup. I just enjoy watching it because I'm a big soccer
I just
fan.
learned how betting worked the other day while watching the game with Speck and Cody. I bet on Wales to beat America just because it was like 10-1.
Yeah.
And they were down 1-0. I'm like, oh, it's only 2 goals. And then I learned after the fact that you don't get your money back for draws.
No, you don't. No, it's you have to bet on the draw itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. I mean, because like
I could have asked anyone, but
yeah, I think it's similar to that in hockey as well.
Learned that one the hard way.
Yeah, it's like that in hockey too. If you get a draw, you don't get your money.
So I think I'm gonna be one and done betting on soccer. I'm gonna be one and done betting on sports where I don't understand the fundamentals of it.
I mean, if you're gonna bet on winners, do it when they get to the knockout stage, because there has to be a winner. There's no draws there, so.
All right, we're going to get to What's Your Fantasy here coming up in a minute. 913-586-7610. If you have fantasy questions, any sort of fantasy questions, send them your way, because we've got games starting tomorrow, a Thanksgiving slate of games, which is honestly maybe the best Thanksgiving slate we've had in quite some time. Of the 6 teams playing, 5 of them have winning records. The only one that doesn't is the Lions. They're 9.5-point dogs for the Bills, and they've actually won 3 in a row. So they're actually playing semi-decent football right now. Giants, Cowboys, both at 7-3 in the middle game. And then Patriots, Vikings. The Patriots also winners of 3 in a row. I don't know that it's like a murderer's row, but it's a fairly decent slate of games that I'm excited for. The problem is the Giants, Cowboys I'm most excited for. And that 3:30 slot, that's like perfect nap time. That's perfect me passed out on the recliner, wake up at 6 o'clock time, go back for seconds. So I don't know. You got to make do with what we got. All right, let's get to What's Your Fantasy. All right. Oh, see, Chris, this is your first time. This is your first time in What's Your Fantasy.
Yeah, I usually don't play porn music on the air here.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's labeled porn music, but that's just so it's easy for me to pull up. There's also an explicit version with...
Yeah, I saw that. I made sure not to play that one.
See, typically we do play that on Fridays, but since it's your first time, I want to ease you in.
I mean, today's Wednesday, so...
Well, it feels like a Friday because we're all off. But you know what? Yeah, it's the holiday season. Maybe you're in the car with the kids, so I appreciate you thinking about the families, all of the beautiful families, because this is a kid. So 913-586-7610. Send in your fantasy questions, football or otherwise. This is the week of the trade deadline, right, for a lot of fantasy football leagues.
Yeah, I think ours just passed. I think ours just finished after Monday.
This is the week you got to watch out for guys giving up on their teams and perhaps selling players off the side.
Yeah, no, I'm the commission in my big league, and I was looking out for that.
Now, are you judge, jury, and executioner? Do you wield a lot of power in your league, or do you let people vote on trades?
I do voting if there's something that I feel like, because like I don't want to be the person that like just makes decisions all willy-nilly, and especially because it's a money league too, so people are really passionate about it. So like if I feel like it's something that like people might get pissed about, yeah, I absolutely ask people.
Well, because here's the problem though, that to me is a slippery slope. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to let a trade be vetoed unless there is like obviously collusion going on. If I just think somebody's screwing somebody else over, like, you're a big boy. If you can't handle your own trades, I'm not going to protect you from yourself. I only will veto, because I'm a commissioner too, or will even put it up to a vote if it seems like suspicious that maybe, because this has happened before, where like, guy, hey, who do you want for Dameon Pierce? Like, give me $50 cash on the side because I'm losing money in this league anyway. If we think that something like that's happening, that's the only way we'll step in.
Yeah, I'm general. I had one weird trade. Like 3 people in our league like did this massive trade because like one of the chicks is like a big Ohio State fan, so she like traded for a bunch of Ohio State players. So I don't know why. I mean, she her team's is pretty down in the standings. So she's just trying to have fun. I don't blame her.
All right.
But I was looking at it and I was like, I had to make sure it was good first before I okayed.
You got to do your due diligence. All right, let's get to some of these questions. First one from the 816. Need a running back 2 and a flex. Pacheco, Damian Pierce, Jeff Wilson, Pittman, Pickens, or Mike Williams. My gosh, man.
You just name half the roster.
Yeah. Okay, well, Damian Pierce is definitely one of yours.
Yes.
And as your flex, I think I would probably go Jeff Wilson. He has been a stud since Miami picked him up.
Yeah, he's been pretty nice. I mean, Williams got the ankle injury. I wouldn't touch him. Pickens has been pretty good. Like, I stashed him at the beginning of the year, and he's been pretty good.
Ever since Pickett took over.
Yes, him and Pickett got some.
Deontay Johnson went down, Pickens goes up. All right.
Yes.
From the 650, Scary Terry, Keenan Allen, and Juju need to play too. Definitely Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
Ever since Heineke took over, he has went off. I would go Keenan Allen. We don't know enough about Juju.
Yeah, we don't know if he's going to. He practiced today, but we don't know if he's going to play.
He did practice today. I think you're probably splitting hairs there, but I would probably lean towards Keenan Allen. From the 816, Burrow or Tua?
Tua. Take Tua.
Is Tua just must start?
He's must start.
territory?
And against Burrow, Burrow has not been that great in fantasy.
But he puts up points, man.
Like he puts up points.
26 last week.
Yeah, but he's been inconsistent. One of my friends has both of those guys, and he was starting Burrow early in the year, and Tua was costing him points because Tua was doing pretty well. So I would go Tua, especially with those weapons he's got. What is it? Jamar Chase isn't back yet.
Okay, so today press conference, Burrow said he thinks Jamar Chase will play this week. And if he plays this week, then he's going to be playing next week.
Yeah.
When the Chiefs head up to Cincy. From the 650, Kyler Murray or Justin Fields? Justin Fields must start territory right now. The rushing numbers alone. Justin Fields is 5th in the NFL in rushing yards.
He's so great, man.
He is about to break the single season rushing record.
I picked him up in my money league as my bye week quarterback because I got Jalen Hurts. He was so good that week. It was a few weeks ago. He was so good that week. I was like, yeah, that's a money pickup. I was like, I wanted to keep him, but I was like, I don't really need him because I got Jalen Hurts. So.
From the 816, Swift on Thursday. DeAndre Swift tomorrow or Leonard Fournette? I'm going Leonard Fournette there. It's very clear that Jamal Williams is the guy who is vulturing on. Jamal Williams is 13 touchdowns this year?
12.
12?
12.
That
it's
is ridiculous, man.
It's ridiculous. Like Swift, he's a good back, but he's getting a lot of important touches taken away from him by Jamal Williams.
Yeah, who is the other? Or Leonard Fournette? Yeah, I'm going Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, I
because
go Fournette. Even though Fournette's starting to lose some touches to Rashad White.
He is. That's tough. You could go either way on that one. All right, we got time for a couple more. God, some of you guys, so I can always tell how desperate some of these people are with some of the options that they're giving me. No offense, but this guy from the 816. Njoku or Juwan Johnson? Man.
I mean,
white flag.
I've seen Juwan Johnson start to get some run this week.
You know what? You know what, though? You, sir, you're the one who should actually be offering cash for players. Just start selling guys, make some cash on the side, get something out of this league because I don't think Njoku or Juwan Johnson in Week 12 are getting you where you need to go.
Somebody texted in Kittle or Schultz. I would do Kittle. Kittle's actually he had a great game last week. He's starting to pick up some momentum though. He hasn't been super consistent week to week.
All right, that is What's Your Fantasy on Cody and Gold with Chris and Osero. I'm Nick Schwartz. What's trending coming up next? 610 Sports Radio.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss Alex's That Betting Show every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Right here on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app.
Make some midweek magic with Light the Lamp Wednesdays at BetMGM, an official sportsbook partner of the NHL. Place a $25 wager on any NHL player to score a goal on Wednesday, and you'll automatically receive $200 in free bets for every goal scored in the game. That's up to $1,600 in free bets. Just log into your account or download the app and sign up with BetMGM to get started. Then opt into the Light the Lamp Wednesdays promotion to receive a $200 free bet for every goal scored in the game, regardless of your prop bet's outcome. Every Wednesday at BetMGM. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager and physically present in Kansas to bet. New and existing customers offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
At T-Mobile, we think about coverage differently. So we built a network powerful enough to bring high-speed 5G home internet to millions of homes across America.
Welcome to the neighborhood. You all settled in?
Yeah, we love it. Quiet location, beautiful parks, great internet.
Internet? Who are you using?
T-Mobile 5G home internet.
T-Mobile has internet?
Yep, T-Mobile's same 5G network that works great on your phone is strong enough for your home internet. Just plug it in your set.
I did not know that.
It's reliable and affordable. Just $50 a month.
Make yourself at home with fast, reliable, affordable T-Mobile 5G home internet on the network with the power to go beyond the expected. Just $50 a month with AutoPay. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/5G internet.
Availability limited. Qualifying credit required. Regulatory fees included in price for qualified accounts, plus $5 per month without autopay. $35 assisted support or device connection charge due at sale. See T-Mobile.com/5G internet for details.
When you need a new roof, especially if you have storm damage, the last thing you want to hear from a roofing company is that it's going to be weeks or even months before they can get to it because of supply issues. Well, supply issues are no issue at Shamrock Roofing. As one of the largest roofing companies in America, we stocked up early and we stocked up big. That means our warehouse has everything we need to do your job now. And because we stocked up before the supply crunch, we paid a lot less than anyone looking for roofing supplies now and can share those savings with you. No one in Kansas City can install a better roof at a better price with a better warranty than Shamrock Roofing. And remember, at Shamrock, the first guy you meet at the door is the same guy who's going to manage your entire roofing project. One call does it all. Call Shamrock Roofing today or visit online at shamrockroofer.com.
One call does it all. Call Shamrock Roofing today.
Get more kicks out of every World Soccer match with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. Soccer fans, it is the perfect time to check out FanDuel because new customers get $125 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Safe, secure, super easy to use, and you can bet on anything you like from the money line, goals scored to corners. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with what's called a same-game parlay. And best of all, you get paid your winnings instantly. So don't miss this opportunity. You can get $125 in free bets, win or lose, when you join with FanDuel, as long as you use my promo code CDOT. Make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app.
21 and present in Kansas. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 7 days after receipt. Max free bet ranging from $5 to $100. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
When it comes to winning at football, you need a great offense, defense, and special teams. When it comes to burgers, Sonic knows you need steak, butter bacon, and cheese. That's why they're introducing the Sonic Steak Butter Bacon Cheeseburger. It's made with creamy steak seasoned butter, grilled onions, bacon, and 2 slices of melty cheese, all layered with 100% pure beef patty and served on a toasted bakery bun. Get your delicious Sonic Steak Butter Bacon Cheeseburger today. Available for a limited time and only at Sonic.
A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own. Unbound.org.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVP's Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
Dancing crew, trip for 2, nail the final interview.
game with Doug. Brand new mug. Come here, kid. Give me a hug. The more you want to do, the more we want to do. New COVID-19 boosters designed for recent Omicron variants are now available. Learn about eligibility and schedule a free, updated booster today at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
New Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there. And around there. And even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at Walmart.
Friday, the biggest World Cup showdown kicks off on Fox.
Oh, my goodness!
Christian Pulisic leads the Stars and Stripes.
What can this kid do?
Against the unstoppable Harry Kane and global powerhouse England.
What a night!
Team USA face their toughest test of the tournament with everything on the line and a chance to shock the world.
That is magnificent!
USA, England. Coverage begins Friday at 1 Eastern on Fox.
This report brought to you by Max Motors. Vehicles in stock and ready for delivery. MaxMotors.com.
At Max Motors, buying a new car, truck, or SUV is easy. Buy any new or pre-owned vehicle with zero money down, 0 payments for 4 months, and the lowest interest rates available. Hurry in with over 1,000 vehicles in stock and ready for delivery. MaxMotors.com. See dealer for details.
Slow internet is nonsense. For fast internet, switch to Spectrum Business. Thousands of consumer-initiated tests confirm Spectrum delivers the fastest speed in the nation. That's right, Spectrum delivers the fastest internet speeds in the nation. Switch to Spectrum Business and get 600 megabit per second internet for your business. Only $49.99 a month when bundled. No hidden fees, no contracts, no nonsense. Just the fastest internet speeds in the nation. Visit business.spectrum.com/ultra. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Brown and Crouppen Studios.
All right, coming up at 2 o'clock, it's going to be Dusty Likens hosting The Drive with Jed Marshall on the board. I'm Nick Schwert, Chris Unocero in with me, and this is Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio. No Cody Tapp. As of about 9 o'clock last night, somebody, I guess, farted on his pillow. That's all I know about how you get pink eye, because that's what happened. Conjunctivitis. Conjunctivitis takes another one, takes another good man. As Cody Tapp starts his Thanksgiving weekend a little early. He did say Thanksgiving's canceled tomorrow. He was going to have the whole family over, cooking like 19 pastries, but I guess none of that is happening, which is shocking because I kind of assumed that this was going to be a big Tapp family Thanksgiving. Before Dusty Likens actually going to stop by. We'll do a little crosstalk here. He'll join us in studio coming up in 15 minutes. But right now, you want to get to some What's Trending? This is about the time we would do it, and I got something very, very important I'd like to get to.
What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
All right, first up on What's Trending, really the only reason why I wanted to do What's Trending. Kansas Jayhawks beat North Carolina State 80-74 in their first-round matchup in the Battle for Atlantis. Grady Dick went off 25 points. 6 of 12 three-point shooting to lead the way for the Jayhawks. A couple players with double-doubles. Jalen Wilson, National Player of the Year candidate, 19 points, 11 rebounds. Kevin McCullough with 10 points and 11 rebounds. And Dwan Harris rounding out the scoring in double figures for the Jayhawks with 14 points to go along with 6 assists. They will play the winner of Wisconsin-Dayton tomorrow at 10 a.m. As for the Wildcats, they're also 5-0 after beating Nevada 96-87 in overtime last night, so they're undefeated on the season. They will play LSU tonight at 6:30. And speaking of the Jayhawks and the Wildcats, Sunflower Showdown, Saturday, prime time. I know that's not really trending, but come on, it's the last game of the season. Lance Leipold just signed a contract extension. The Jayhawks got their guy. Both of these teams, I think, were a little worried about potentially losing their coaches. Both Lance Leipold and Chris Kleiman are hot coaching candidates. And at least in the case of Leipold, he gets extended through 2029. Now, this doesn't mean that he can't leave, but it does mean that it makes it much more expensive for somebody else to buy him away. So Does this mean he's going to be here till 2029? No, but I think for the next 2 or 3 years, you got to feel pretty confident that your head coach isn't going anywhere, which is new to Kansas football, because that's all it's been. Either you're going to get fired or you're going to resign. Now you finally got a guy who isn't going to do anything. You want to keep him around, you're going to keep him around. I think the next guy you got to give an extension to or a raise to would be Travis Goff. All right, lastly on what's trending, the most shocking news of the day, Zach Wilson is going to be benched as the starting quarterback for the New York Jets. Robert Saleh made the announcement in a late morning team meeting and later confirmed to reporters that Mike White will start on Sunday versus the Chicago Bears. Joe Flacco is going to be the number 2. So you're getting demoted all the way to third-string quarterback. Listen to this quote, though, from Robert Saleh. Quote, Zach's career here is not over. I know that's going to be the narrative, and I know that's everybody wants to shout out, but that's not even close to the case. The full intent is to make sure Zach gets back on the football field this season. When that is, I'll make that decision. Chris, if you have to go out of your way to say, hey, the guy we just benched and made our third string, he's not done here. If you have to go out of your way to say it, it probably means that guy's done here.
I mean, not necessarily, but I will say this. Whenever you bench your second-year starting quarterback in this type of situation where you're trying to win games, you're telling everyone that he's not good enough to help you win right now. And if they start winning games with their offense, being able to help them win these games that are pretty close, you can't go back to him.
They've got pieces, everywhere except for quarterback.
You got a good running back. You got good receiving core there. You've got a great defense, and the real weakness of your team is at quarterback. And if someone comes in and looks like they can do a better job than him, you can't put that guy back out there.
Do you think he gets benched if he didn't make the comments after the game when asked if he let the defense down and said no?
Maybe not as quickly, but yes, he gets benched.
It sounds like, based off what some of the reports that came out after that, was that pissed off a lot of the teammates.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about it. You've got a guy that basically said, no, I don't feel like I let the defense down. And, you heard it from a lot of former players on ESPN.
Did you see Chris Long's comments?
No. What did he say?
He said, if I were his teammate, he would get the ass chewing of a lifetime. Like, don't ever bleeping show me up like that again.
Oh, yeah. No, I guarantee you there was a sit-down with people, and maybe not a sit-down. That's probably a more civilized way of saying it.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, once they heard about those comments, because there's media members out there trying to stoke the fire a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, did you hear what Zach said about y'all? Like, I guarantee you when that happened, they caught him in a corner somewhere and they let him know, hey, man, that's not how you go about business here. And I guarantee you Robert Saleh said that because he's a defensive guy and he knows how those guys think. So I guarantee you it became a thing. It became a thing.
Benched. Yep, exactly. All right, that's what's trending here on Cody and Gold, 610 Sports Radio. Chris Jones is having a monster season, 9 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 4.5 of those sacks, by the way, have come in fourth quarter, 1-score games. He's not just playing well, he's playing well in the biggest moments of the game. And I think the Chiefs entered this season sort of in a wait-and-see mode. I don't think their mind was made up whatsoever on what to do with Chris Jones. I think they thought, okay, well, if he plays well, maybe we restructure this and bring him back on a team-friendly deal for a couple of years. If he doesn't play well, if it looks like maybe he's losing a step, then maybe in the offseason with 1 year left on his deal, we can trade him, get a nice return, go out and try and draft his replacement, or have the money and the flexibility to bring somebody in. But this man is a legitimate Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I think their mind's made up. Their mind's made up on Orlando Brown Jr., which means they've got money to spend. And I think they're going to spend that money on Chris Jones. Now, to what extent? What's that contract look like? How long do you keep it around? I'm not exactly sure, but I mean, this is typically the age when they let go of players in Kansas City, even if they think there's gas in the tank. We saw it with Tyreek Hill. We saw it with Tyrann Mathieu. They don't want to overpay, and they don't want to pay guys based off what they've done if they don't think they can continue to perform at that same level. Yesterday on Cody and Gold, Nate Taylor of The Athletic stopped in and talked about the Chris Jones situation and what the Chiefs may end up doing with him this offseason.
And I want everyone to hear this in Kansas City. Chris Jones doesn't want to go anywhere. He wants to play here. There's not a situation that's developing kind of like around this time last year where, similarly, Tyreek Hill was playing in a contract year. He knew that. The team knew that. Yeah, he has one more year left on his deal, but, Tyreek wanted to be the highest paid player at his position.
Which meant it wasn't necessarily going to be here and wasn't here.
Right. And so, Chris, you don't know how it's all going to play out. So I'm trying to do this as best I can with my understanding of the situation, but he wants to be here. He wants to play here for the duration of his career. He's made that very clear. The organization knows that. They have put everything around him, which is basically the question I asked to him after the game on Sunday. Like, is it satisfying that, like, you are the star and they have given you a very good supporting cast, right? Even Frank Clark coming back has been very good in his supporting role with you now being the star, which was the difference in 2019 when Frank Clark was the star and you were sort of the Robin to his Batman based on the contract, the trade, all those things. And obviously Frank got all the sacks to end the games in the postseason run. But they've done everything for him. They obviously allowed him to play defensive end last year. It didn't go well, but it does serve him better this year because he's using some of those moves on right tackles, and they are working now because he's had that experience. So you don't know how the season's going to play out, obviously. You obviously need him to stay healthy, but this guy has seen what Travis Kelce's done. He's seen, obviously, how Patrick Mahomes' career has moved forward, and he wants to be in that threshold of, hey, these were the core guys in this era where maybe the Chiefs won multiple Super Bowls, and right now there's only 4 players in that category. It's Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, and Frank Clark. If Frank Clark has another memorable postseason, even though we all assume that this will be his last year, he will be a part of this sort of core 4 in my mind, as I've reported on these guys for all this time, that say, hey, the first sort of Mahomes era included these other 3 guys.
All right, so that's Nate Taylor yesterday talking about Chris Jones and what his future in Kansas City is going to look like. If you remember, it was before the 2020 season when he signed that contract extension. It was a 4-year, $80 million contract. I believe $37.5 million of that was fully guaranteed. So he's got 1 year left on his deal, $27 million. They could save $20 million by cutting him. They're not going to do that, which means you could also save money by restructuring and giving him an extension. What's interesting about Chris Jones is that the contract for the market for interior defensive linemen, it hasn't really been reset. There's only 4 D tackles making more money than him, and the only one who's making more guaranteed money than Chris Jones is Aaron Donald, who's 3 years older than Jones. And based off the play this year, I'm not writing off Aaron Donald. Make no mistake about it, though. Chris Jones has been the best defensive tackle in the NFL. He should be mentioned amongst Max Crosby, Matthew Judon, Micah Parsons as the best defensive players in football this year. You're going to re-sign him. It would be a bit of a deviation from what Brett Veach has typically done, but this isn't a case of Tyreek Hill where he didn't just want a new deal. He wanted to reset the market. This isn't a case of Tyrann Mathieu where you started to see the decline. You're seeing a guy at age 28 who looks like he is playing his best football, and he's doing it at a premium position. He's getting to the quarterback. He's disrupting offenses, and he's closing out games. He keeps doing this in the fourth quarter when games are tight, week after week after week. I think the Chiefs' minds should be made up. I just wonder, because we know this is the case, we saw it with Tyreek Hill, what's the line? What's the line to which the Chiefs start to get uncomfortable about the money? Now, based off what Nate Taylor said yesterday, he doesn't think that's going to come into the equation because Chris Jones is committed to being in Kansas City. And that is the same thing we see with Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce can make more money elsewhere, but why do it when you know your legacy is going to be solidified simply by staying in Kansas City, playing with Patrick Mahomes, and playing with Andy Reid? Dusty Likens and Jed Marshall are going to be taking over for the drive coming up here in about 13 minutes, but Dusty's one of the kindest men in Kansas City and certainly one of the more honorable personalities here at 610 Sports Radio. So he's kind enough to now join us in studio. Now, because of the lighting situation right now, you're backlit. It looks like you're in the witness protection program on the stream. All we can see is your outline.
This is my actual voice. I can close it.
Yeah, I mean you can if you want to. This is television, man. This is videos. Oh, it's gonna look so much better.
Now we can see the lovely locks of my hair.
Barely. It's still an outline, but you know what? There's
Good.
12 minutes left in the show, so it doesn't really wow.
I know this. I know. Get it. Whatever.
We need
This
shock
mic sucks.
mounts, man.
We've needed it for a while. You can't hit the table. Good to see you. You and Chris. Nice. You ready for Thanksgiving? Is it traveling or are you staying here?
I'm actually traveling about an hour west to go to one of the greatest cities in America, Topeka, Kansas.
Grady Dick today, man. How you feel about that?
I'm pretty engorged.
I figured.
Yeah. I mean, 25 points. You kidding me?
I wonder, because my buddy texted me today. He goes, do I bet it all on Kansas? I said, well, it's kind of a dumb bet because they're such high favorites. The bet today was the prop bets for Grady Dick because obviously the backdoor cover, which is brutal. It's like sweeping Twitter by storm about how bad North Carolina State has the backdoor cover on Kansas. But, yeah.
Well, because his point total was 16.5. So he
27.
He hit that by halftime.
I bet his 3 prop was like 2.5.
I got Kevin McCullough, the over on rebounds, the over on DeJuan Harris assists, the over on Kevin McCullough points. It was a fruitful afternoon for me.
Yeah, just fall to Dick to get you through the afternoon, and you'll be fine today.
Do you think that he is hateable?
Oh, he was hateable the minute he went to Kansas.
Yeah, but he's not Grayson Allen. You know what I mean?
No, but he is white, which that's going to piss a lot of people off. I'm not trying to get woke, but I mean, it's just like, I don't know. He's just a different. Think of like hated players in the NBA. Like people hated JJ Redick. People hated Grayson Allen.
Yeah, but people didn't hate Christian Brown last year.
Really?
I don't think so.
I mean, during the tournament,
you know why? Because he was
let's go. Like,
yeah, but
I also hate let's go guy now.
But
I'm over it.
It wasn't let's go. He would just yell bitch 20 times a game.
Always, and he'd do like the flex. Now he's been the same guy in the pros, which is kind of interesting to watch. A Kansas guy actually be good in the pros. That's really awesome. Normally, Kansas guys don't do well in the pros.
I know, because he knows his role. He knows he's not going to be a superstar.
But somebody did say that Grady Dick's the next Larry Bird. Like, can we stop that?
Who?
I saw on Twitter today.
Okay, if you just saw some random guy with 30
the blue
followers.
check mark.
Okay, he could have paid for it.
Could have. Elon could have given it to him. But again, like, because he's white and because he shoots threes, we immediately are like, he could be the next Larry Bird.
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah. I'm not going to name any names.
I see. Dude, you know who it was?
I do know. That's, of course. I've been
Lawrence Tynes.
Yeah.
Why is Lawrence Tynes getting off Kansas basketball takes?
He's a Kansas guy. I'm pretty sure he either lives here or lived here for a while.
Here's what Lawrence Tynes had to say. I did not know Lawrence Tynes was a college basketball fan. If you're a basketball fan, I would encourage you to watch the second half of the Jayhawks game versus NC State. Freshman phenom Grady Dick is the next coming of Larry Bird. 18 points in the half. Okay, just because he's tall white guy who shoots threes does not make him Larry Bird.
He kind of looks like the guy that plays Jeffrey Dahmer in the Netflix series. That's like the first thing, party hardy. That's all I ever think about when I see him on the court.
Well, dude, Larry Bird is, I don't know, you
knew Larry got
one of
down.
the 10 greatest basketball players of all time.
Yeah, I'd say he's like, I would even put him less than 10. Because isn't Steph Curry considered one of the top 10 now?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's one of the top 9, probably one of the top 8. Do people really put Bill Russell above Larry Bird?
Don't ever say, like, someone's the next coming of 3 people
That's
say
what I'm telling you, man. Like, I didn't make this up. I'm back here trying to get the drive set up.
I'm so
trying to put all this stuff, eating a Popeye's chicken sandwich. Still elite. Elite.
Oh, yeah.
I went to Joe's KC today for lunch. No chance. What an idiot I was.
How bad was it?
The line was out the door.
Which one did you go to?
The 47th and Mission. I tried to order online, and it said ASAP request is not available due to high volume currently at Joe's.
My gosh.
The line was out the door at 12:45.
Do they do turkeys?
I don't know.
Some of the barbecue joints do turkeys.
You'd have thought Frank Lucas was there handing them out for free. But, yeah, good for them. Good profitable day. I went there. Was like, maybe I can get in here, get a quick Z-Man, get some fries, get in, get out. Absolutely not. They had cones blocking the parking lot. Couldn't order ASAP. Had to wait for everything. It's just, It's a big mess. But hey.
What do you got coming up on the drive today?
Pete Sweeney for from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We'll do a little AP radio because you got K-State basketball starting at 5:30 tonight pregame. And then we got a conversation that needs to be had about the Chiefs sweeping the awards. I want them to go full Titanic on the NFL awards this year. And I think you can honestly have a conversation about that.
Okay,
and not sound biased.
Okay, so you're talking about MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and Coach of the Year.
Correct. I think you could make a case sounding non-biased about all of those guys.
And you could make a really strong case for...
And I'm using your tweet about Chris Jones. 4.5 sacks in the fourth quarter this season.
Dude, that's the one that pisses me off.
Right?
It pisses me off that Micah Parsons is...
I mean, he's
like
good,
running,
man.
He is, but
and
like
he's
to think
really good.
To think that he is miles away from the rest of the pack is absurd. Like compare his case for Defensive Player of the Year to Patrick Mahomes' case for MVP, and tell me why Micah Parsons is a bigger favorite than Mahomes is. Mahomes is so far ahead of the pack. Micah Parsons is just having a good... It's because he plays for the Cowboys.
No, it's because he got off to a really good start ahead of the pack.
When they had Cooper Rush in at quarterback and they were winning games because of the defense. Watch Chris Jones have another 2-sack game, and I think the narrative's going to change a lot. So get your bets in right now and keep your butts in your seats. If you're in the car, just stay there for the next 4 hours.
There's a gummy bear on the floor. Do you think it's one of those funky ones, or do you think it's normal?
Bink was in here earlier. And
I know,
he likes
like chew.
He likes the edibles, so...
There's 3 fat wads of chew out there.
I say eat it and just... see what happens over the next 4 hours. Dusty Likens coming up next. Thanks to Chris Unocero. I'm Nick Schwartz. Thanks for tuning in. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Cody and Gold, 610 Sports Radio.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss Royals first baseman / NFL insider, Vinny Pasquantino. This football season with Cody and Gold.
My Twitter is about to unload of football tweets. First Jets game that I have free on Sunday. It's go time.
610 Sports Radio.
Football fans, make this a Thanksgiving to remember with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and the official sportsbook partner of 610 Sports Radio. Because when you bet an NFL game parlay from now through November 28th, all